A phone call interrupted the quiet office while Tao remained calm, leaving Alma to respond. Alma accepted the new request as the Gokurakugai troubleshooter agency prepared for another case. Across Gokurakugai, the lively streets concealed an unsettling atmosphere beneath everyday life. Frequent disappearances and mysterious deaths raised concern throughout the district. Despite the growing danger, people ignored the incidents until they became victims themselves. Gokurakugai looked peaceful, hiding the troubles spreading beneath its ordinary streets. Soon, Tao and Alma arrived at their agency to meet a client seeking help. The client handed over evidence, hoping it would expose the suspect's actions. After reviewing the photos, the pair quickly understood the seriousness of the case. Certain of the suspect's guilt, they prepared to investigate and bring the criminal to justice. Tao and Alma questioned the client while listening carefully to his explanation. The client offered a large payment, hoping the agency would accept the investigation. After thanking them, he prepared to leave, believing everything had been settled. Before he reached the exit, Alma noticed a strange smell surrounding the man. Suspicious of the unusual scent, Alma stopped him and realized the client was hiding the truth. Alma exposed the fake payment, leaving the client shocked and unable to hide his panic. The frightened man admitted his deception and begged the agency to accept the case. Tao reminded him the investigation carried serious risks that justified the payment. Facing the consequences, the client realized only the agency could solve his problem. Tao demanded the full fee without negotiation, forcing the desperate client to pay immediately. After paying the fee, the embarrassed client hurried away while Alma mocked his failed deception. With the case accepted, Tao and Alma headed to a nearby restaurant for a meal. Both enjoyed the food while taking a short break before starting the investigation. A waitress noticed Alma's enormous appetite and watched him finish dish after dish. Amused by his appetite, she wondered where all the food disappeared, despite Alma never gaining weight. The waitress criticized Tao's attitude while serving another meal to the table. She mentioned recent rumors about missing people and mutilated animal carcasses appearing across the district. After hearing the details, Tao and Alma realized the incidents matched the case they investigated. The waitress complained that their hidden office made it difficult for people to find them. Tao dismissed the suggestion, while Alma casually offered to help despite the disagreement. The waitress urged Tao and Alma to solve the strange incidents before worrying about their office sign. She jokingly insisted she was too adorable to become the next kidnapping victim. After finishing their meal, Alma bought supplies and returned to the agency. While carrying the materials upstairs, he noticed a missing poster hanging near the entrance. Recognizing the child's face, Alma immediately realized the poster could be connected to their investigation. While carrying supplies, Alma noticed a strong chemical smell drifting through the street. Following the scent, he found a young artist painting a large mural beneath the stairs. The startled artist reacted nervously as Alma approached and questioned the artwork. Mistaking the situation, Alma struck the painter before understanding what was happening. Realizing the mistake, Alma warned the artist not to damage the area and continued searching for clues. The young artist showed Alma the missing poster, insisting the reward and disappearance were real. Soon, Tao demanded compensation for the graffiti cleanup before discussing anything else. Unable to pay, the nervous artist reluctantly followed Alma back to the agency. Tao pressured the artist to cover the cleaning costs, refusing every excuse. Cornered by the demand, the artist struggled to think of a way to settle the debt. The young artist claimed to be from a powerful family, hoping the threat would stop the agency. Tao and Alma ignored the claim, leaving the artist too nervous to argue further. Finally, the artist admitted every saving was meant to rescue a missing friend. Hearing that, Tao became interested and asked for more details about the missing child. The missing poster caught Tao's attention, connecting the artist's story to the ongoing disappearance cases. Tao asked Luca to explain everything about the missing child before making any decisions. Trusting them, Luca agreed to tell the story after the agency canceled the debt. Luca connected the disappearance to the recent rumors of missing people and mutilated bodies. He explained that Yuki vanished after a strange discovery near a dead bird in a nearby alley. Although Luca doubted anyone could help, he still hoped the agency would find his missing friend. Luca began explaining how loneliness and constant bullying made everyday life difficult. Even at home, Luca received little understanding or support from the family. Despite everything, Luca continued drawing to escape the pressure and frustration. One afternoon, Luca met Yuki, who quietly approached after noticing the sketch. Instead of mocking the drawing, Yuki showed genuine curiosity, beginning an unexpected friendship. Yuki admired Luca's drawing, giving praise that no one had ever offered before. As they talked, Luca noticed Yuki's unusual features, but chose not to judge them. Although taught to avoid beastmen, Luca hesitated instead of walking away. Unable to ignore the feeling, Luca stopped Yuki and asked to spend more time together. Their friendship quickly grew, and Yuki became the first true friend Luca had ever known. Luca remembered Yuki as the first friend who accepted and encouraged him without prejudice. Believing Yuki could still be saved, Luca promised to do everything possible to find the missing friend. Although determined to search alone, Luca refused to abandon the investigation. With tears in the eyes, Luca declared that saving Yuki mattered more than anything else. Seeing Luca's resolve, Tao and Alma finally agreed to help investigate the disappearance together. Tao and Alma introduced themselves, promising to help rescue Yuki without hesitation. Luca questioned their intentions, surprised that strangers would volunteer to help. Alma proudly revealed the agency's new sign and declared their mission to solve difficult cases. Instead of feeling reassured, Luca remained suspicious and doubted their seriousness. Growing impatient, Luca decided to leave, believing the agency was wasting valuable time. Alma and Tao relaxed inside the office after Luca left, while evening slowly settled over the district. As darkness spread, the neighborhood entered the dangerous disaster hour, signaling that trouble could begin any time. Meanwhile, Luca hurried away, convincing himself the agency seemed suspicious and refusing to trust them. Passing nearby police officers, Luca still questioned whether the investigators were truly reliable or capable. However, Luca remembered they were the only people who sincerely listened. Luca searched alleys, where he placed missing posters, determined to finish before darkness arrived. A silent alley offered no clues, yet he continued searching before night completely fell. Luca found a mutilated animal beside fresh artwork, leaving him frozen in shock. Soon he spotted a dead bird and Yuki's bag. Realizing the danger was real, hidden nearby, Luca saw a mysterious figure dragging someone, confirming his fears about Yuki. Luca finally found Yuki alive, but his injured friend urgently warned him to stay away. Black birds suddenly surrounded the alley as Luca rushed forward, despite Yuki's desperate warning. A massive two-headed monster emerged, blocking Luca's path and revealing the source of the terrifying attacks. Fear overwhelmed Luca as the creature stepped closer, leaving him frozen before its enormous jaws. Although Yuki urged him to escape together, the monster closed in before either of them could flee. The monster grabbed Yuki and prepared to swallow him as Luca watched in horror. Yuki weakly smiled, remembering happier days while Luca desperately searched for a way to save him. Luca screamed and charged forward, refusing to abandon his best friend, despite the overwhelming danger. The monster lunged toward Luca, forcing him to flee as sharp debris scattered through the alley. Alma suddenly arrived, pulled Luca to safety, and narrowly rescued him before the monster's attack struck. Alma rescued Luca from danger while the frightened boy begged the team to save Yuki instead. Meanwhile, Alma and Dao confronted the monster, realizing it hunted anyone investigating the dead animals, and fired together. Their attack struck the creature, forcing it backward while Luca watched the battle with growing hope. Suddenly, the wounded monster counterattacked, sending Alma flying and leaving Luca horrified. Finally, the beast rushed toward Yuki, making Luca fear his friend would be attacked next. Alma rescued Yuki and carried him safely toward Luca. Luca embraced his injured friend, while Alma and Dao prepared to confront the monster. Together, the pair stepped forward confidently, determined to eliminate the dangerous creature. Before attacking, Dao assured Luca the fight would end quickly, despite the monster's advance. The beast struck first, but Dao reacted immediately and stopped its powerful attack. Dao dodged the monster's assault and launched a fast counterattack. Next he struck repeatedly, forcing the creature to recoil from the powerful blows. Meanwhile, Luca protected Yuki as Tao explained the monster was a disaster beast that fed on humans. Then, Tao revealed these creatures came from a terrifying place beyond ordinary understanding. Finally, Luca realized the enemy before them was no longer human but a deadly monster. Yuki asked who the mysterious people were after witnessing their fierce battle against the monster. Miss Tao explained, they secretly hunted dangerous Manga creatures while appearing as ordinary troubleshooters. Although Yuki questioned their courage, Luca attacked confidently and declared fear no longer controlled him. Soon Luca distracted the monster and created an opening for Miss Tao to strike. Finally, Miss Tao fired at the creature while Luca continued fighting, keeping the monster occupied. Kai noticed Al's condition changing as dark power spread across his body during the fierce battle. Black markings covered Alma further, revealing a frightening transformation while he continued resisting the enemy. Meanwhile, Kai explained that Alma carried Maga blood because he was born between a human and a Maga. Despite his unstable state, Alma charged the monsters again while struggling to control the darkness within himself. The battle continued as Alma fought relentlessly, determined to protect everyone without surrendering to his Maga instincts. Miss Tao's advice inspired Alma to embrace humanity and protect others despite his bloodline. Strengthened by her words, Alma charged toward the attacking Maga without hesitation. He fought to honor Miss Tao's trust and prove his chosen path. Al relentlessly slashed the monsters while resisting his inner transformation. Continuing his assault, Alma overwhelmed the enemies and pushed the battle toward victory. Alma defeated the remaining monsters, though the battle left him exhausted and wounded. After catching his breath, he reunited with Miss Tao, Alma, and Luca as the danger finally ended. The group decided to bring Yuki to the hospital and officially close the case. Alma tearfully thanked Alma for saving Yuki, while he answered with a quiet smile. Peace returned as Miss Tao calmly watched over the now silent street. The cleanup finished, and the city slowly returned to normal after the dangerous incident. Alma rested at the office while Miss Tao quietly read the newspaper beside him. Boredom quickly replaced the excitement, but Miss Tao ignored his complaints and kept reading. A knock interrupted the silence, drawing both of their attention. Luca arrived with donuts and returned the recovered money, bringing a cheerful ending to the day. Miss Tao refused Luca's payment and praised Alma for helping rescue Yuki during the dangerous case. Alma suggested celebrating with a meal after Luca became a successful artist in the future. Luca revealed he had prepared a replacement sign after the old one was ruined. The new agency sign surprised Alma and impressed Miss Tao. Everyone admired Luca's thoughtful gift, ending the day with smiles and renewed friendship. After finishing their mission, Luca invited Miss Tao and Alma to visit Yuki at the hospital. Alma slept peacefully inside the office, while morning remained quiet around the familiar neighborhood unnoticed. Tao awakened him and quickly prepared both for another outing, without wasting any time today. Moments later she changed direction and guided him home through empty streets instead calmly onward. During the walk Alma remembered forgotten cigarettes yet neither returned because home came first together. Finally they reached their residence, entered safely, and ended the quiet morning without further trouble. Tao and Alma entered the headquarters, while Alma casually talked during the ride inside. Soon they crossed the vast hallway, heading toward a familiar meeting place together. Reaching the entrance, unexpected barking echoed before the large door slowly opened. Yuki warmly welcomed both visitors with overwhelming excitement after their long absence. Without hesitation, Yuki happily embraced Alma while greeting Tao, making their return feel lively and cheerful. Dara greeted the group casually, easing the excitement after their reunion with a calm attitude. Meanwhile, Tao guided Alma deeper inside the headquarters toward the medical examination room. There, Alma underwent another blood draw, while enduring the uncomfortable procedure with visible frustration. Afterward, everyone gathered around as Alma rested and recovered from the routine checkup. Finally, Yuki reminded the group that Alma's blood remained essential for creating Dao's specialized weapons and required regular collection. Yuki handed Dao freshly prepared ammunition and promised to finish the remaining supplies later. Before they left, Yuki also offered newly developed equipment for Dao to test. Meanwhile, Alma completed the blood draw. Although the procedure still left him exhausted and uncomfortable, Dara encouraged Alma to rest, knowing regular blood collection would continue for the foreseeable future. Finally, Dao inspected her weapon and reminded Alma their mission would eventually end those necessary blood draws. Alma realized ending the Maga threat would also end the need for his blood donations, lifting his spirits. Yuki then shared fresh information gathered from Tatsuomi about a suspicious incident requiring investigation. The report revealed several disappearances near a cemetery. Additional details described the isolated location as an ideal place for criminals to operate unnoticed. Despite complaining about the expensive information, Yoki confirmed the valuable lead was worth obtaining. Alma quickly unpacked plenty of food, determined to recover after losing blood during the medical checkup. Once everyone finished preparing, Dao and Alma departed headquarters to investigate the reported disappearances. Before leaving, their friends reminded them to stay safe throughout the dangerous assignment ahead. Arriving near the cemetery, Alma noticed the unpleasant surroundings before spotting a lone young man carrying flowers. Dao approached the visitor and politely asked him to guide them toward the cemetery. The young man admitted the cemetery frightened him, yet he still visited someone important resting there. Soon they reached the cemetery, and Alma sensed the place felt strangely unsettling. After thanking them, the young man walked alone toward a family grave, carrying fresh flowers. Meanwhile, he quietly prepared an offering before standing respectfully beside the grave. Finally, the young man folded his hands in prayer, honoring the deceased with silent respect. The young man revealed the grave belonged to his grandfather, whom he had come to honor. Soon he quietly explained his grandfather had been murdered rather than dying from illness. Hearing the story, Alma offered to investigate the case while Dao expressed sincere sympathy. The young man smiled politely, appreciating their concern, despite the painful memory. Finally, he calmly admitted the tragedy no longer troubled him as much as before. The young man revealed his father had murdered his grandfather before later dying in prison. Greed for insurance money had driven the tragic crime, leaving painful memories behind. He admitted wishing his father would disappear, carrying guilt over those thoughts for years. After sharing everything, the young man apologized for revealing emotions he had never expressed before. Alma listened quietly, offering comfort and reminding him their agency always welcomed troubled hearts. The young man accepted the cigarette, appreciating Alma's quiet gesture of understanding and support. Dao lit the cigarette, and the familiar scent helped calm the young man's troubled heart. Standing before the grave, he reflected peacefully, while remembering his grandfather with gratitude. Gradually, he revealed years of abuse and hardship caused by his cruel father. Despite enduring constant suffering, his grandfather's kindness gave him strength to keep living every day. His grandfather eventually collapsed from illness after working beyond his physical limits. Meanwhile, the young man remembered promising better days while protecting his grandfather's remaining cigarettes. Soon his father returned home, demanding every payment the young man had earned. Fear silenced him as his father forcefully took the money without hesitation. Afterward, he bought his grandfather's favorite sushi, hoping to celebrate together after graduation, but that chance never came. The young man returned home and found his father standing beside his grandfather's lifeless body. Panic overwhelmed him, but his father dismissed the death with shocking indifference. Instead, his father coldly celebrated the coming insurance money without showing any remorse. Hearing those words, the young man trembled with grief, anger, and disbelief. Finally, his father noticed the horrified expression and turned toward him in confusion. The painful memory lingered as the young man recalled silently obeying his father's cruel demands. Back at the cemetery, he admitted blaming himself because he could never fight back. Alma gently reminded him the tragedy had never been his responsibility to carry. The young man realized his kindness had turned into constant self-blame over the years. Finally, Alma encouraged him to believe his grandfather would never have wanted him to suffer alone. Feeling relieved, the young man thanked Tao and Alma for patiently listening to his painful story. Before leaving, Alma handed him the agency's contact card, encouraging him to reach out whenever needed. The young man smiled gratefully, then departed to return the bucket and continue his daily work. After watching him leave, Tao and Alma remained behind, quietly observing the peaceful cemetery. Meanwhile, Isato finished tending the grave, unaware someone continued watching him from afar. Isato quietly accepted Alma's words but still struggled to forgive himself for the past. While walking away, painful thoughts returned, convincing him his grandfather suffered because of him. Suddenly, a monstrous creature burst from hiding and lunged toward Isato without warning. The terrified young man froze as the monster demanded something before attacking relentlessly. Tao and Alma reacted instantly, launching a powerful counterattack to stop the creature before it reached Isato. Alma quickly pulled Isato away from danger, while Tao prepared to face the sudden attack. The trio regrouped as more monsters appeared, confirming the enemies had finally revealed themselves. Several creatures surrounded the graveyard, forcing the troubleshooters to prepare for a full battle. Filled with determination, Alma volunteered to confront the monsters alone, while Tao watched carefully. Drawing his weapon, Alma charged forward and unleashed a powerful attack against the advancing creatures. Alma unleashed a powerful slash, releasing a strange force from his body that shocked Isato and struck the approaching monster. The transformed creature staggered after the attack, while Alma rushed forward and overwhelmed it with relentless speed. Watching the fight, Dao and Isato realized Alma's mysterious power was far beyond anything they had expected. Tao explained the monsters were resurrected corpses called Manga. Isato struggled to accept the truth as Tao described the creatures. Isato and Tao watched anxiously as Alma fought the monsters alone. Tao explained, Alma remained human despite his unusual abilities, leaving Isato confused about his true nature. One monster recognized Alma's power as similar to its own, questioning why he protected humans instead of joining them. After defeating nearly every enemy, Alma faced the last monster. The final creature appealed to Alma's sympathy, forcing him to pause before delivering the finishing blow. Alma spared a moment to hear the final monster's desperate plea for mercy. The creature revealed it had been transformed into a human-eating monster against its will. Despite the confession, Alma struck without hesitation and ended the confrontation. He insisted every maga must be eliminated, shocking Isato with his unwavering resolve. The defeated monster collapsed as Isato silently struggled to accept the grim truth. The defeated monster called Isato's name, leaving him frozen with confusion and disbelief. Suddenly, the creature begged for help, causing Isato to hesitate while the others stayed alert. They explained the voice came from lingering memories, but Isato struggled to accept the painful truth. The monster desperately claimed they were still family, deepening Isato's emotional conflict. Overwhelmed by memories, Isato defended his past actions, believing every sacrifice had been necessary. The monster smiled strangely, while Isato watched in shock, overwhelmed by painful memories and confusion. Unable to stay silent, Isato admitted his deepest fears and regrets as emotions finally burst free. He rejected the monster completely, refusing to accept it as family and begging it to disappear forever. Meanwhile, Alma attacked without hesitation, striking the monster before it could respond. His powerful slash split the creature apart, ending the confrontation before it could harm anyone else. Isato calmed down while Alma reminded him that guilt should not control the rest of his life. Encouraged by those words, Isato accepted the advice and thanked his grandfather at the family grave. Later, the peaceful cemetery fell silent as the night settled over the city. Meanwhile, the group reunited after the battle, relieved that everyone had survived safely. Together, they shared a quiet moment, leaving the painful events behind and looking toward a better future. The group returned home, reviewed the repair costs, and confirmed they had only stopped by briefly before leaving again. Later, Alma apologized for the expensive grave repairs, but the others assured him everyone's safety mattered far more than the money. A woman walked into a quiet alley before an unbearable pain spread across her neck, leaving her struggling to breathe. Not far away, a mysterious man calmly watched as the woman collapsed from the sudden attack. His faint smile hinted that he already understood the terrifying event unfolding before him. Meanwhile, Alma sensed something was wrong and reacted with alarm. Even as danger emerged elsewhere, the restaurant remained busy while Alma continued handling customers' orders. Alma struggled to keep up with the restaurant's busy shift while completing every task assigned to him. After work, he returned to the Gokurakugai troubleshooter agency, exhausted from the demanding day. Inside, Alma found Hao with another visitor and paused after noticing the unfamiliar guest. The newcomer casually greeted everyone while Tao introduced him as Mr. Tatsuomi. Curious about the unexpected visit, Alma immediately asked why Tatsuomi had come to the agency. Tatsuomi teased Tao while handing over a document he claimed to have brought untouched. He revealed valuable information and demanded payment before sharing any details. After lowering the price, Tatsuomi accepted the offer as Alma reluctantly prepared the money. The deal was completed, allowing everyone to focus on the report he had delivered. The document revealed a woman found hanging, giving the agency a new case to investigate. The team reviewed the report and considered whether a serial killer was behind the growing number of hanging victims. They ruled out ordinary Manga because none of the bodies had been consumed after death. Tao concluded a stronger being might be controlling the Manga and causing the mysterious incidents. Tatsuomi revealed another clue, drawing everyone's attention to fresh evidence. After demanding another fee, he prepared to explain the newly uncovered Tatsuomi revealed photos, showing unusual handprints around the victims' necks, making the murders even more suspicious. The team realized the killer strangled each victim before displaying the bodies in public places. Tao concluded the murderer wanted the victims to be seen, rather than simply killed. Further evidence revealed every victim had been a young woman. Tatsuomi believed the pattern pointed toward the dangerous suspect the agency had been searching for. Alma grew curious after hearing Tao had been searching for a dangerous person he had never known about. Tatsuomi teased Alma, implying Tao had kept important secrets from her partner. He demanded an outrageous payment before offering to reveal the hidden truth. Tao exposed Tatsuomi's trick, explaining the information already belonged to the agency. Their argument shifted when Alma discovered Tatsuomi had finished all the snacks left on the desk. Tao understood the case and ordered Alma to prepare before heading to the shrine with Tatsuomi. The group arrived at the quiet shrine, where one of the hanging victims had been discovered. While inspecting the area, Alma asked about shrines and Tao briefly explained their place in the city. Their conversation turned to belief, though Tao dismissed the existence of gods. Alma rang the shrine bell anyway, hoping their search for the mysterious Manga would become easier. After offering a quick prayer, Alma wondered if the shrine had truly answered his wish. A sudden disturbance proved it was only a coincidence as something emerged nearby. Monstrous Manga revealed themselves, forcing the investigation to become an immediate battle. Alma and Tao stepped forward without hesitation, preparing to eliminate the creatures themselves. Together, they confronted the monsters, determined to deliver swift punishment. Before more victims appeared, several Manga surrounded the shrine, arguing over who would claim the first meal. Without waiting, the creatures charged together and launched a direct attack. Alma rushed forward, cutting through multiple Manga before they could overwhelm the area. More monsters closed in, but Tao fired precise shots to support Alma from a distance. Working together, they stopped another attack as Alma deflected a flying strike and kept advancing. A powerful Manga struck Alma, but he blocked the heavy blow before it could knock him down. Recovering quickly, Alma counterattacked and sent one of the creatures crashing away. He followed with another strike, slamming a second Manga into a nearby wall. Meanwhile, Tao reminded Alma to avoid destroying the shrine while continuing the fight. Despite their efforts, more Manga burst from the shrine, forcing the battle to continue. Tao mocked the Manga before calmly stepping forward to face the growing group alone. Gunfire echoed across the shrine as several monsters fell under her precise attacks. One creature slipped through the barrage, but Tao avoided its strike and crushed it with a powerful blow. She continued firing relentlessly, eliminating every Manga that rushed into range. Within moments, the remaining creatures were forced back by Tao's overwhelming assault. Tao quickly reduced the remaining Manga, leaving only a few monsters still standing around the shrine. Without slowing down, she reloaded her weapon and prepared for another wave of attacks. Her precise shots struck the advancing creatures, preventing them from closing the distance. Several Manga collapsed one after another as Tao maintained complete control of the battle. Silence gradually returned, while the last surviving monsters hesitated before making another move. Tao remained calm while a towering Manga rushed toward her, showing no concern despite the creature's overwhelming size. The monster was struck down behind her, proving the attack had already been handled before it reached her. Meanwhile, her partner returned proudly after defeating another enemy. Tao corrected his mistake before they casually walked away from the battlefield together. He quietly lit her cigarette, and the pair continued onward after securing victory over the remaining Manga. After finishing the battle, the partners left the shrine discussing dinner, while an unseen observer watched from a rooftop. The observer quietly followed their departure. Without revealing himself, they reached a neighborhood restaurant where familiar co-workers welcomed them warmly. One employee rushed over carrying dishes, surprising everyone with his enthusiasm. The friends laughed together as they settled in for a peaceful meal after the dangerous mission ended. A grateful waitress thanked Tatsu for helping her, leaving him flustered while everyone watched the cheerful exchange. Soon, He remembered a coupon that expired that day and rushed to claim it before the shop closed. Back at the office, Tao declined any sweets while Tatsu hurried out alone. He returned empty-handed, explaining the trip had failed because something felt suspicious. Tao concluded the mission seemed strangely easy, believing unseen forces had deliberately misled their investigation. Tatsu suggested it was better that their investigation had found nothing. Tao reminded him the outcome could have been far worse if the person had become a manga after. Agreeing to stay patient, Tatsu left to report the mission before heading home. The partners exchanged a casual farewell and ended another long day. Alone at home, Tao quietly reflected on the suspicious mission, unable to shake the feeling that something remained unresolved. Tatsu left with fresh taiyaki, planning a quiet night while wondering how the shrine cleanup was progressing. Passing the shrine, he noticed a lone stranger standing silently beneath the gate, drawing his attention. Suspicion quickly replaced curiosity as Tatsu recognized something unusual about the mysterious man. The stranger turned calmly, and Tatsu immediately confronted him, demanding to know who he really was.
Under the quiet streetlights, two strangers confronted each other, tension rising between their unspoken intentions. Their eyes locked firmly, one demanded answers, while the other hesitated, hiding dangerous secrets. Alma cautiously approached the corner, clutching a box tightly, sensing imminent danger ahead. He raised his trembling hand, claiming innocence, while Alma remained skeptical and alert. Finally, he explained everything, wandering near shrine, discovering strange signs, and seeking Alma's urgent help. Tears streamed down Yuro's face as he begged them to believe he hadn't broken the komainu. Without warning, Alma seized Yuro's collar, dragging him closer while demanding the truth about the incident. After a tense pause, Alma finally realized Yuro's innocence, surprised by how suspicious his trembling appeared. Extending a folded paper, Alma reassured Yuro he could always call them whenever trouble found him. Staring at the note, Yuro gripped it tightly, sensing Alma's offer might change his future. Alma questioned Yuro's tears, but Yuro explained he was startled when Alma suddenly called out. Standing awkwardly together, Alma sniffed curiously, while Yuro denied noticing any strange scent around them. After hesitating briefly, Alma handed Yuro a small candy, explaining kids usually loved sweet things. Surprised by the offer, Yuro admitted he liked sweets, though Alma's direct question embarrassed him. Finally, Alma offered his own taiseki to Yuro, insisting sincerely despite Yuro's hesitant expression. After accepting the taiseki, Yuro mentioned leaving early since he had plans later that evening. Before he could leave, Alma insisted Yuro rest and eat properly, teasing him about getting lost. Later, Yuro wandered the quiet streets alone, tightly holding Alma's note while avoiding crowded places. Meanwhile, Alma returned home past 9, greeted by Yaya, who immediately scolded him for being late. Settling down, Alma casually mentioned meeting a strange man at the shrine, piquing Yaya's curiosity instantly. Alma described meeting Yuro, noting his awkwardness and nervous hunger, proudly mentioning sharing his taiseki. The conversation shifted casually as Alma requested changing the TV channel, trying to relax after everything. Tao asked if Alma discovered Yuro's identity, but Alma realized he never even asked his name. Elsewhere, Yuro quietly savored the taiseki, sitting alone on a bench while collecting his thoughts. Suddenly, a mysterious figure approached Yuro, placing a hand on his shoulder with unsettling familiarity. A tall, mysterious man approached confident, calling Yuro by name as a faint smile formed. His piercing gaze softened slightly, yet an unsettling tension lingered in the quiet alleyway. Recognizing him as Yomi, Yuro nervously offered his untouched taiseki, explaining where he got it. Yomi accepted a small piece, tasting it carefully, then praised its sweetness with calm satisfaction. While eating together, Yomi questioned Yuro's unusual attachment, curious about the person who'd given him food. Yuro suddenly realized he never asked Alma's name, and began describing him nervously to Yomi. Holding up the note Alma gave him, Yuro excitedly explained how he received it earlier. Yomi smirked confidently after seeing the note, muttering bingo, as if confirming his suspicion. Confused by Yomi's reaction, Yuro repeated the word softly, unsure why Alma's name triggered recognition. After a moment, Yuro admitted Alma seemed trustworthy, while Yomi reassured him both were good people. Yuro hesitated, questioning how Yomi knew Alma so well despite never meeting him personally. Yomi's voice lowered as he admitted he had been silently watching Alma for many years. He revealed knowing Alma since birth, softly promising to greet him properly when they meet again. Yuro wondered why Yomi waited so long, suggesting he could approach Alma anytime if desired. Yomi, gazing downward, explained his theory people become fragile when they lose life's unchanging constant. Yomi compared losing a constant to losing favorite things, leaving Yuro quietly unsettled by the idea. He explained losing important people was even harsher, causing fragility until someone else replaces them. With a faint smile, Yomi whispered his patience, promising to wait until the right moment. Suddenly a light flickered above, startling Yuro, making the tense silence between them feel heavy. heavier. Before leaving, Yuro was told to approach Alma next time and speak with him direct. Yuro froze when strangers approached unexpectedly, while Yomi remained calm, casually greeting the newcomers with ease. Two excited women recognized Yomi instantly, eagerly approaching while Yuro panicked, unsure how to respond properly. They invited Yuro and Yomi to join them, but Yomi's expression shifted subtly, becoming cautious. Before anyone reacted, one woman noticed something strange, sensing an unsettling presence drawing closer behind them. Suddenly, a mysterious figure attacked violently, grabbing both women by the neck without any warning. The attacker's grip tightened around the women's necks, their gasps growing weaker as panic spread. Yomi watched calmly, remarking he hadn't expected violence here, yet showing no signs of intervention. With unsettling fascination, Yuro observed, murmuring that things were becoming unexpectedly interesting for him. He calmly pulled out a syringe, preparing an injection while the terrified women struggled beneath him. Forcing their mouths open, Yuro administered the substance, muffling screams as they thrashed helplessly on instinct. The injected substance took effect instantly, twisting the women's bodies as monstrous transformations began violently. Their forms collapsed into grotesque, shapeless masses, while Yuro watched, unsettled yet strangely fascinated. Yomi, unfazed, mocked the failed experiment, dismissing them coldly as useless and unworthy even as pawns. Later, Yuro hesitated, questioning their bond, asking Yomi softly if they were truly family after all. With a faint, confident smile, Yomi reassured him, answering calmly and firmly, "Of course." He smiled faintly, hiding his true intentions, while planning something dangerous beneath his calm appearance. That night, the quiet building concealed hidden activities, becoming the center of an upcoming conflict. Inside, Alma returned with food, unaware Tao had already made a risky decision involving someone suspicious. Tao stayed silent, smoking calmly, while Alma nervously watched her every move, sensing growing underlying tension. Finally, Alma confronted her about reckless choices, realizing their survival depended on controlling these dangerous habits. Tao reminded Alma to stay cautious, advising him to record names of anyone suspicious encountered. After settling their discussion, both decided to share food together, easing tension from earlier conversation. While eating, Alma distractedly watched television, learning surprising facts, unaware trouble was slowly approaching outside. Teo and Alma walk through the quiet district. Worried after hearing about sudden job shortages everywhere, they meet a cheerful informant who apologizes for delays but promises alternative assignments requiring urgent attention. Resting in their office, they learn calamity cleanups are handled elsewhere, suggesting unexpected external interference. Suspicion rises as Tao wonders if Nei, known for secret operations, is behind these unusual events. They confirm Nei's involvement. Her relentless dedication worries them as they prepare for inevitable dangerous consequence. The team relaxes in the office, sensing someone approaching as the door slowly creaks open. Nei bursts in triumphantly, boasting about defeating multiple enemies effortlessly, leaving everyone stunned and relieved. She proudly claims responsibility for recent calmness, teasing the team for having no work left. Everyone welcomes Nei warmly, impressed by her unmatched skill, yet concerned about her reckless solo mission. Despite their worries, Nei reassures them confidently, reminding everyone she always returns victorious and unharmed. Everyone cheers for Nei's success while Tao and Alma quietly watch her energetic celebration from afar. Nei sits proudly between them, expecting recognition, while Tao and Alma remain calm and reserved. Tao finally praises Nei's relentless dedication, acknowledging her consistent hard work and unmatched combat accomplishment. Nei expects heartfelt compliments, but Alma gives a simple acknowledgement, leaving Nei surprisingly disappointed. Frustrated, Nei bursts out loudly, upset that Alma misunderstood her desire for genuine admiration. She argues with Alma after being scolded, while Tao mocks her arrogance from across the room. Offended, Nei fixates on Tao's words, preparing a fierce response while everyone grows tense. She attacks Tao playfully, boasting her seniority, while he counters angrily, denying her superiority altogether. Alma interrupts their bickering, scolding them both calmly, urging focus on important tasks instead. Suddenly, new information arrives, signs of a calamity nearby and several shopkeepers are missing. Yoki prepares the mission details, suggesting Alma and Tao handle it without any assistance. Nei interrupts, confidently volunteering to complete the mission alone, promising zero collateral damage during action. Alma approves Nei's decision after Tao stays silent, knowing she won't be stopped once determined. Tao complains as Nei takes control, assigning him errands despite stealing their mission responsibilities. They argue while walking, discussing Tao's smoking habit and Nei's refusal to buy his cigarette. Tao volunteers to accompany Nei, offering teamwork, while Alma promises rewards if they cooperate successfully. Nay glares at Tao as he insists on joining, and they reluctantly prepare to together. Both exchange determined looks, silently agreeing to handle the mission efficiently, despite their constant bickering. The two depart by train, heading toward the area where the calamity was reported earlier. On the train, Nay confronts Tao about following her, while he insists teamwork ensures faster success. On the train, Tao boasts while Nay listens silently, both realizing the journey feels painfully long. They continue arguing lightly. Tao complains about her impossible standards, while Nay stays calm and confident. Arriving at the empty shopping district, they begin investigating but find nothing suspicious at first glance. Despite searching thoroughly, there are no signs of calamities, making Nay grow restless and impatient. Nay reveals a vial of her own blood, preparing to use it for detecting hidden threats. Nay explains her blood lures calamity, shocking Tao as they cautiously proceed through the district. She clarifies further her blood tastes better than anyone else's, making it perfect bait. Suddenly a strange ripple spreads nearby, hinting at a hidden calamity lurking beneath the street. Monstrous figures emerge from the ground, surrounding Nay and Tao, ready to attack without hesitation. Realizing the trap worked, Nay prepares to strike, while Tao braces himself for the swarm. Alma charges confidently, preparing to fight, but suddenly hesitates after realizing something feels terribly wrong. He struggles to activate his power, panicking when nothing happens despite forcing his strength repeatedly. Nay calmly points out his weakness, explaining why over-reliance on restraints makes him vulnerable in battle. She reveals he cannot unleash his true power without Alma's permission, leaving him stunned and frustrated. Overwhelmed, Alma cries out, admitting he can't fight effectively without Alma, revealing his deep dependence. He tried to act confident, raising his fist, but his determination quickly turned uncertain. Pulling at the restraints, he struggled desperately, shocked when they refused to break free. She stepped forward firmly, pointing out his weakness, reminding him of the limits he carried. Her words revealed the truth without Tao's permission. The restraints binding his strength couldn't be removed. Realization struck him hard. He screamed helplessly, admitting he couldn't fight without Tao's guidance. She tightened her grip on the blade, confident her experience would carry them through danger. Raising her sword high, she warned him to stay still as the threat approached. From the shadows, monstrous figures emerged, their grotesque bodies blocking the narrow city street. She lunged forward, blade slicing with unmatched speed, shredding the creatures before they reached him. The monsters dissolved into mist, and she sheathed her sword, calmly declaring the mission finished. He looked at her with awe, finally admitting aloud how deeply he admired her strength. Embarrassed by his words, she laughed loudly, teasing him for being the last to realize. He frowned, reflecting on his weakness, admitting he couldn't succeed alone despite his stubborn pride. She questioned his drive, curious why recognition mattered so much in his relentless struggle. Her eyes sparkled fiercely as she confessed her desire. Endless praise fueled her unstoppable determination. After the mission ended, he wandered the street, annoyed by her constant teasing remark. Later, everyone gathered for dinner, where arguments over food showed their lively but chaotic teamwork. A mutilated hand discovered in the alley shocked investigators, sparking rumors of savage, hidden attack. Tao and Alma examined the fourth victim's remains, realizing the murders formed a disturbing, escalating pattern. A hooded figure lurked nearby, concealed in shadows, exhaling mist, silently watching the investigators' movement. The hooded figure retreated deeper into the alley, footsteps echoing, carrying secrets behind the murders. Alma received forbidden documents revealing the killer's identity. Rumors confirmed the cannibal hiding among civilians. Tao negotiated payment, while Alma observed quietly, their investigation beginning with suspicious client dealing. The detectives reviewed disturbing photographs of male victims, each corpse marked by gruesome, consistent wounds. Evidence revealed a timeline of killings, bodies discovered weekly, pointing to a calculated, ongoing predator. Every victim suffered brutal injuries, but investigators noticed a haunting detail: palms always chewed beyond recognition. The informant hinted at deeper connections among victims, suggesting cannibalistic intent masked within ritual killing. Tao brushed off the flirtation, forcing the informant to cough up the critical document reluctant. Criminal records exposed each victim's vile history: rapists, extortionists, and predators hiding behind civilian appearances. Suspicion deepened as Alma noted the precision and bite patterns far too intentional to be random. With no fresh leads, they combed the area, irritated by delays from their greedy contact. Unseen in the crowd, the true killer observed sweat forming as tension thickened beneath the hood. Among the crowd, the hooded girl's unease worsened, gripping her head as pain intensified suddenly. Alma noticed her stumble and rushed closer, startling her with concern as she recoiled in fear. Panicked, the girl shoved him away, begging for distance, convinced his presence brought further danger. Despite resistance, Alma steadied her trembling form, demanding answers as her hood slipped to reveal vulnerability. Her frightened pushback ended with flushed cheeks. Alma remarked bluntly on her odd, unpredictable behavior. Despite her protest, Alma sensed dishonesty, recalling Yaya's advice that fine often meant concealed distress. Without hesitation, Alma grabbed her hand, insisting she follow him, dragging her toward safety and comfort. Inside a quiet eatery, food covered the table, her nervous hunger disguised beneath polite explanation. Encouraged, she finally ate, cheeks flushing as Alma reassured her with laughter and casual remark. Tears welled unexpectedly, spoon trembling in her grip, emotions breaking through as Alma watched concernedly. Alarmed by her reaction, Alma offered reassurance, urging her to eat calmly without forcing herself unnecessarily. With tears still lingering, she thanked him quietly as Alma recalled Dao's advice about asking name. Introducing himself warmly, Alma encouraged honesty after hesitation. She revealed her name, Kanata, her voice trembling softly. Outside the diner, she expressed gratitude, cheeks reddened, while Alma casually wished her a safe return. Just as he turned away, Kanata grabbed his sleeve, blurting her desire to share another meal. Kanata's hesitant voice carried vulnerability, eyes shimmering as she asked if another meeting was possible. Alma agreed casually, her relief bursting into excitement as they promised to meet tomorrow night. With her hood drawn, Kanata waved softly, masking nerves beneath a fragile smile as Alma departed. During their next meal, laughter filled the air, though Kanata discreetly struggled, hiding discomfort behind bites. As they chatted warmly, a nearby television broadcast shifted, hinting at troubling news to come. Kanata smiled faintly through tears, thanking Alma for his kindness before preparing to head home. Alma insisted on walking her, recalling Yaya's advice that escorting a girl home was proper. As they walked, she admired his courage, impressed by someone her age already fighting crime. Playfully, Alma revealed he also hunted dangerous criminals, while gently questioning Kanata about school and life. Her voice wavered, she confessed loneliness at home and school, admitting nights outside eased her emptiness. Alma's cheerful invitation caught Kanata off guard, her heart racing at his sudden carefree suggestion. They wandered past glowing shops, Alma joking about arcades while Kanata laughed at his failed attempt. Excitedly, Kanata revealed her fondness for Michi the cat, proudly displaying a cherished trinket she'd won. Their conversation deepened. Alma listened warmly as Kanata admitted loneliness, grateful she finally had someone. Locking eyes, Alma told her she should keep smiling, words striking deeper than Kanata expected. Alma's words about smiling struck Kanata deeply, but sudden pain overwhelmed her, forcing discomfort outward. She parted ways, thanking Alma nervously, while he reminded her she could always call any time. Alone, Kanata staggered into a restroom, trembling violently before collapsing over the sink, vomiting painfully. Her fragile moment was interrupted when two men entered, grinning darkly, mocking her vulnerable situation immediately. Their threats grew sharper, cornering Kanata against the wall as she begged desperately for them to stop. Kanata resisted, biting down violently on her attacker's hand, blood spilling as his mocking smile shattered. He screamed in agony, stumbling backward, unable to comprehend the sudden burst of strength. His mangled hand dripped blood, shock overwhelming him as he accused Kanata of inhuman behavior. Witnesses rushed inside, confusion spreading, some calling for help while others dismissed it as drunken chaos. Kanata fled the restroom in panic, hood drawn, whispers of monster echoing ominously behind her. She sprinted through the narrow street, whispering apologies, terrified of the chaos she just caused. Alma returned cheerfully from his errand, placing Tao's coffee jelly inside the refrigerator without hesitation. Tao glanced at she curiously while sipping tea, noticing his unusually bright expression and confident grin. He proudly announced she had made a new friend, his excitement completely filling the quiet room. Tao read about another Gokurakogai incident, growing suspicious as Alma casually mentioned walking someone home safely. Later, Alma trained relentlessly despite exhaustion, while Tao discussed financial matters, seemingly distracted by hidden concerns. Tao received an urgent report about a Manga outbreak and immediately assigned Alma the investigation. While preparing, Alma discovered a newspaper photo showing Kanata, which instantly shocked and unsettled him deeply. Recognizing Kanata's name, Alma realized their connection and accepted Tao's directive to investigate 6th Avenue. Alma officially took the case, arriving at the bustling station where Kanata had last appeared. Kanata, trembling in fear, muttered about a monster, hinting at something terrifying approaching rapidly. Inside Kanata's mind, violent whispers repeated endlessly, overwhelming thoughts with a single command: kill. Kanata wandered aimlessly through dark alleys, clutching an envelope tightly as the voices intensified. A concerned passerby approached Kanata, but his trembling hands revealed fear, confusion, and unbearable internal conflict. Elsewhere, Alma sensed danger approaching rapidly, his instincts sharpening as the killing intent grew stronger. Kanata forced a fragile smile, hiding inner chaos while insisting everything was perfectly fine outward. Kanata suddenly bolted away, ignoring the woman's calls, while murderous whispers consumed his thoughts. Under the starless sky, Alma's name echoed faintly, hinting at a dangerous connection forming. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure calmly stopped another's attempted suicide, setting unsettling tones during their meal. Inside an opulent dining hall, a tense gathering formed, each person holding secrets and grudges. Arguments escalated quickly among them, revealing strained family ties and unspoken resentment beneath forced civility. A twisted remark about vegetarians unsettled the quiet atmosphere, leaving one person visibly disturbed and silent. Yomi calmly reminded everyone that a lively dinner reflected familial unity, though tension simmered beneath smiles. Frustration erupted when accusations rose, one member slamming the table violently, shattering the fragile peace instantly. Another intervened swiftly, restraining the aggressor before matters escalated further, their quiet authority demanding immediate obedience. Grudgingly, the aggressor sat down, muttering resentment, but hostility lingered, threatening to break the family's facade. Tensions rose as Kanata's absence was mentioned, revealing difficulties in gathering the entire fractured family. Memeko warned that resisting their instincts worsened craving, implying Kanata's eventual return was inevitable. Yomi calmly explained Kanata's options: bring Alma to them, or abandon her humanity forever. The family considered recruiting Alma, believing his strength valuable, while curiosity surrounding him quietly deepened. Memeko mocked the idea, but quiet agreement spread, their intentions toward Alma becoming increasingly dangerous. Yomi reflected on Kanata's struggle, convinced her true place was within the family's grasp. With a calm smile, he declared Alma's future too, hinting Alma also belonged with them. Meanwhile, the phone at the Gokurakugai troubleshooter agency rang persistently, signaling a new case. Unaware of looming danger, Alma wandered through the busy streets. As the call continued unanswered, somewhere else, Kanata hesitated before answering a ringing phone, her shadowed expression betraying deep conflict. Kanata repeatedly tried calling, her hesitation growing with each failed attempt, burdened by unspoken fears. Sweat dripped as the ringing continued endlessly, her trembling hand refusing to hang up completely. Eventually, silence consumed her resolve. She hung up and walked away, expression heavy with despair. Meanwhile, Alma searched frantically, concluding the station was the only place Kanata might appear. Spotting a familiar tissue on the ground, Alma realized Kanata had been there moments earlier. Alma remembered his promise to Kanata, determined to help her whenever she faced trouble. Back at the office, Alma suspected mistaken identity, yet doubt lingered within Tao's silence. Alma defended Kanata, convinced she wasn't deceitful, his certainty rooted deeply in their fragile friendship. Resolved, Alma prepared to confront Kanata directly, heading towards the station with renewed determination. At the station, she sat alone in silence until Alma finally approached, breaking tension. Alma approached Kanata carefully, showing his agency badge to reassure her and offer help immediately. Kanata, overwhelmed and trembling, hesitated before revealing the source of her distress to Alma. The creature lunged forward wildly, but a clean shot pierced its chest. Its body collapsed instantly. Smoke rose calmly around her boots as she stepped through burning debris, holding her pistol steady. In her office, she reviewed reports. This Maga's behavior was strange, calculated, and disturbingly human-like. A girl's photos surfaced in the files. She looked harmless, yet something felt dangerously unnatural. Alma arrived at the station, finding the girl crying. Tao watched closely, instincts already on alert. Alma confronted the girl, demanding answers, but she recoiled instantly, terrified and defensive. He stood silently before her, revealing his identity. Her trembling slowly turned into hesitant attention. Through quiet words, she confessed the truth. Her transformation into a Manga began with near death. She warned Alma to leave, insisting her existence endangered everyone around her, including him. Despite her fears, Alma stayed, embracing her trembling form, silently promising to protect her. Alma held her tightly as she trembled, fearing she'd eventually lose control and harm everyone. She questioned his loyalty, confused why he didn't abandon her despite knowing her deadly nature. Tears streamed down her cheeks as despair consumed her, unsure whether to surrender or keep fighting. Finally, Alma revealed his secret. Part of him shared her blood, binding their fates together forever. Despite his Manga blood, Alma chose humanity, vowing to use his cursed power to protect. Kanata questioned Alma's role, wondering if she had become one of his targets. Alma admitted killing other Manga without hesitation before, but Kanata was different. Her humanity still remained. He reassured her, explaining she showed restraint, unlike other Manga, sparing lives instead of hunting indiscriminately. Alma encouraged Kanata to redirect her power towards saving people, offering a chance for redemption. With determination, Kanata vowed to atone for her past and follow Alma's path of justice. Alma promised Kanata help from his team, urging her to trust him and come along. He encouraged her with determination, insisting they move forward together and seek support immediately. immediately. Kanata agreed hesitantly, but suddenly bit Alma's shoulder, struggling to control her growing hunger. Shock filled Alma's eyes as Kanata's instincts surged, her expression trembling with desperation and confusion. Kanata panicked, screaming, "Why?" repeatedly as Alma begged her to calm down and breathe. Alma turned sharply, startled by sudden shout, realizing someone had finally spotted Kanata nearby. A group of men confronted them angrily, demanding revenge against Kanata for past injuries inflicted. Tensions escalated as Alma tried negotiating, but Kanata's instincts threatened to spiral beyond control. Suddenly, Kanata's transformation surged violently, revealing a monstrous manga form before anyone could react. Everyone froze in shock, horrified by her terrifying appearance, as Alma prepared for what's next. Chaos erupted as Kanata lost control, her monstrous transformation violently attacking the terrified bystander. Alma rushed forward, shouting desperately, pleading with Kanata to stop before anyone else was hurt. He tried reaching her humanity, reminding Kanata she didn't truly want to harm innocent people. Panic set in without Tao's permission. Alma couldn't use the karmic restraint to suppress Kanata. Alma screamed for Kanata to return to normal, terrified as blood pooled beneath fallen bodies. Alma endured the pain as Kanata bit down harder, desperately commanding her to return back. Blood dripped from Alma's arm as he struggled, determined to bring Kanata back to herself. Kanata's monstrous form lashed violently, knocking back another creature as Alma's fear and resolve deepened. Suddenly, a mysterious man appeared, mocking Alma's expectations and hinting at hidden past connect. Confused and breathless, Alma demanded answers, unable to comprehend the stranger's ominous familiarity and intention. The stranger smiled calmly, admitting he hadn't planned this meeting, unsettling Alma with cryptic words. Alma demanded answers, but the man's confident gaze suggested Alma should already recognize him. Reaching forward, the stranger triggered Alma's buried memory, awakening something Alma struggled desperately to comprehend. He effortlessly removed the karmic stake restraining Alma's power, whispering chilling. Alma froze, shocked the stake was impossible to remove without Tao's command, yet he succeeded. He attempted to strike the mysterious man, but his attacks passed through, leaving him powerless, and he activated the stake's power, unleashing energy that overwhelmed Alma, causing intense, uncontrollable pain. Alma stands beneath the monstrous figure, watching Tao unleash uncontrollable energy, shaking the collapsing structure violently. A mysterious man smirks, using a crystal shard to awaken skeletal creatures crawling from the ground. Tao slams his hand into the floor, releasing explosive energy waves that shatter everything nearby instantly. His eyes darken as immense power overwhelms him, signaling a transformation neither he nor Alma expected. A monstrous arm erupts violently from Tao's body, piercing his opponent's chest without hesitation or mercy. The silver-haired man effortlessly stops Alma's strike, gripping his arm tightly, forcing overwhelming pressure. Without hesitation, the man blasts Alma's ally, reducing his head to ash with devastating precision. Alma retaliates fiercely but is overpowered, slammed violently into the floor, his body nearly breaking apart. Bleeding and trembling, Alma's companion begs for release, his words choked between tears and unbearable pain. Despite exhaustion, Alma rushes forward, determined to protect his friend, his burning power surging uncontrollably. Alma remembers childhood isolation, eating alone daily, feeling forgotten, and growing detached from everyone around him. He charges forward, restraining his friend from escaping, determined to prevent another uncontrollable disaster. A hit-and-run leaves chaos behind. The silver-haired man approaches calmly, extending his blood-stained hand. Childhood hardships resurface, hunger, neglect, and survival shaping fragile trust while forcing dangerous choices forward. Alma's friend admits his monstrous nature, revealing he's a manga, destined to devour endlessly. Trembling, Alma's friend apologizes for his crimes, admitting guilt for harming and killing countless victims. Blood trickles down his face as he whispers Alma's name, eyes reflecting sorrow and acceptance. Alma clenches his fist, suppressing grief, vowing silently to protect others from suffering similar fates. With his final breath, Alma's friend smiles faintly, thanking him before fading into endless darkness. Surveying the aftermath, the silver-haired man comments casually, leaving Alma overwhelmed by guilt and exhaustion. The silver-haired man confronts her, accusing betrayal, explaining her failed attempt to lure Alma. Hearing the accusations, Alma's anger surges, his body trembling as uncontrollable power begins awakening. Alma lunges forward, unleashing a strike, but his opponent calmly blocks it, triggering a massive shockwave. Both warriors lock eyes, tension thick in the air as neither intends to retreat yet. With a faint grin, he utters cryptic words, provoking Alma into attacking harder. Yomi explains that she enjoyed talking with Alma, revealing her hidden emotions never shown before. Coldly states that once someone becomes a manga, eating humans becomes disturbingly normal. Alma learns she endured unbearable hunger, refusing to consume humans just to stay beside him. With a calm smile, Yomi calls her sacrifice precious, subtly mocking Alma's growing frustration inside. Unable unable to bear Yomi's taunts, Alma explodes with anger and launches a devastating counterattack. Yomi mocks Alma's defiance, calling it a rebellious phase, reminding him of his youth. Exhausted and wounded, Alma struggles to stay upright while Yomi watches calmly, maintaining complete dominance. A surprise attack rains bullets on Yomi, but he remains unfazed, barely reacting to the shots. A new fighter draws a blade, shouting for Alma to move aside and prepare for battle. Nei launches a powerful strike toward Yomi, shattering the ground as their clash begins violently. She grits her teeth, glaring at Yomi while he smirks confidently, provoking her further. She confronts Yomi about his impossible defense. Frustrated, he dodges every attack without effort or consequence. Both women agree silently, irritated by Yomi's calm demeanor, preparing to combine their strength against him. Aiming her gun, the newcomer threatens Yomi, breaking the standoff and shifting everyone's focus instantly. Before leaving, she calmly tells Alma she's glad they met, disappearing into the shadows afterward. Yomi turns confidently, telling Tao the outcome depends on her next move. Unsettling everyone nearby, Tao demands Yomi's identity, while he calmly claims her family already knows his reputation. Yomi introduces himself without hesitation, confirming their fears and solidifying his mysterious, dangerous presence immediately. Walking toward a strange portal, Yomi speaks about life's origin and inevitable return, confusing everyone present. Abruptly, Yomi laughs, dismissing his earlier claim as a joke, leaving behind rising unease and tension. She sighs heavily, remarking how difficult explaining this incident will be, while Alma kneels silently. She quickly tends to Alma's condition, urging him to regain control before power overwhelms him completely. Alma freezes upon recognizing Kanata's lifeless body nearby, struggling to accept the devastating reality unfolding. Shaken and confused, Alma's expression stiffens, silently questioning everything that just happened around them. Nei approaches the fallen figure, another warns sharply, declaring the corpse belongs to a mod. Alma knelt silently beside Kanata's remains, mourning her loss while struggling to accept harsh reality. Tao approached Alma gently, offering comfort and acknowledging his pain while expressing quiet gratitude and apology. Later, Alma recalled the first time Kanata laughed with him during a simple shared meal. Tears welled as he clenched his fist, remembering how Kanata once admitted enjoying that moment. Alma's fading consciousness drifts into darkness, fragmented memories resurface, and an unknown voice quietly whispers gratitude. He slowly opens his eyes, disoriented and weak, struggling to understand where he has awakened. Alma lies silently on the hospital bed, while Tao watches closely, ensuring he regains stability. Tao contacts someone to report Alma's recovery, while Alma hesitantly adjusts himself, still feeling unsteady. Confused, Alma learns his arm was severely injured, and anxiously questions Tao about recent events. Alma lowers his head, guilt consuming him, believing he killed Kanata during the incident. Tao calmly confirms the truth, her expression steady while Alma silently struggles with his emotion. Alma clenches his fists tightly, blaming himself, feeling unchanged and powerless despite everything happening. Tao explains Kanata's struggle as a manga and reassures Alma that his actions saved lives. She tells him Kanata's death wasn't his fault. Alma listens quietly, clutching the pendant tightly. Tao reminds Alma of their shared duty guiding Manga to peace and reassures their chosen path. She clenches the pendant tightly, recalling Kanata's smile, regaining strength and determination to continue forward. Their friends rush in joyfully, embracing Alma warmly, relieved and grateful that he survived safely. Yoki informs Alma his actions revealed critical clues about the mastermind orchestrating recent Manga disasters. He learns his survival is essential, as his role becomes vital for future Manga investigations. Alma agrees to cooperate, preparing himself mentally as the team begins running crucial medical tests. Tatsuomi bursts in proudly, delivering security footage from the station, eager to analyze potential leads. The footage reveals figures near the platform, catching everyone's attention as they begin detailed observation. Yoki confirms the girl shown was a Maga, lamenting her tragic situation despite her appearance. Another figure emerges from a mysterious gate, human-like but identified as a potential powerful Maga. Tao identifies the mysterious man as Yomi, strongly believing he leads the Maga's operation. Alma quietly repeats Yomi's name, his expression tightening as determination and unease slowly build. Alma notices Yomi's ring resembling his own, suggesting a deeper, unsettling connection between them. Realizing Yomi caused Kanata's suffering, Alma concludes defeating him could prevent future Maga transformation. With renewed resolve, Alma declares he'll fight Yomi without guilt, despite teasing remarks from teammates. Frustration builds inside Alma as he clenches his fists, admitting his helplessness to Tao silently. Looking at Tao, Alma expresses his desire to save others, just like she once saved him. After hearing Alma's determination, Tao pauses thoughtfully before agreeing to give him more time. Before leaving, Tao announces her plan to gather information, unexpectedly taking Tatsuomi along for assistance. Moments later, two masked chefs enter the room, politely interrupting while delivering freshly prepared food. Yoki arranges a large meal for Alma, insisting he regain strength before their next mission. While Alma enjoys his food, he calls out to Tao, catching her attention before departure. Tao nods subtly at Alma's concern, while he reminds her to stay cautious during investigation. As Tao and Tatsuomi walk together, he nervously asks about Yomi and her focused attention. Tao explains Yomi avoids direct confrontation, manipulating others, and even forced Alma to kill Kanata. Speculations rise about Yomi's intentions, suggesting multiple higher-ranking Manga are orchestrating recent events. Despite ongoing discussions, Tao admits frustration, acknowledging their lack of answers and limited information sources. While eating, Alma suddenly wonders where Nei went, prompting an immediate reaction from everyone nearby. Nei, currently on assignment, pushes herself relentlessly, channeling frustration over Yomi into dangerous mission. Yoki explains Nei's overwork, revealing this is already her 4th mission since Alma's recovery, scolds Alma for worrying everyone, urging him to train harder and rely less on others. While discussing potential Yoki hints at someone strong but unpredictable, warning Alma to prepare carefully. Driven by revenge, Alma declares his determination to defeat Yomi, vowing to do absolutely anything necessary. The hallway remains silent and tense, marking a brief pause before the next phase begins unfolding. He pleads earnestly for help, insisting Alma is the only person truly suited for this mission. Yoki hesitates as negotiations intensify, while the man demands rare seki before agreeing to help. After some bargaining, Yoki reluctantly accepts the deal, offering 3 bottles to secure cooperation. The man sighs heavily, realizing the situation's gravity, preparing himself mentally for the difficult task ahead. Alma struggles against his monstrous instincts, remembering the warning to control his heart and destiny. He tightens his grip on the weapon, determined to fight evil and protect innocent lives. After recovering, Alma shares his resolve with his ally, planning together how to face future threats. Alma begins intense training at the organization's base, preparing himself to confront dangerous enemies ahead. Reaching the training room, Alma shouts confidently, ready to endure whatever challenge awaits him next. Alma enters the empty training arena, confused by the silence and uncertain where his instructor is. He waits impatiently for an hour, growing restless, eager to become stronger, and start training immediately. Suddenly, Yoki bursts in apologizing for being late, introducing Alma to the long-awaited instructor. The instructor, Ryu, casually introduces himself, revealing his past experience and preparing Alma for harsh training. Yoki leaves Alma with Ryu, entrusting the strict instructor to push Alma beyond his current limits. Alma introduces himself nervously, confused by Ryu's casual attitude and his bottle of alcohol. Ryu bluntly declares he doesn't care about anyone, shocking Alma with his indifferent, cold attitude. Despite his words, Ryu accepts the training job, preparing Alma mentally for an intense challenge. Without warning, Ryu attacks fiercely, testing Alma's instincts and resilience from the very first moment. Ryu smirks confidently, promising to teach Alma the true value behind the costly training fee. Yoki discusses Ryu's unpredictable nature, expressing concern about his behavior and its impact on Alma. They reflect on Alma's complicated identity, acknowledging others may distrust him because of his mixed blood. Despite doubts, they affirm Ryu's capabilities, trusting his strength and experience to guide Alma's growth. Meanwhile, Alma endures harsh training, frustrated by Ryu's sudden attacks and seemingly reckless teaching style. He criticizes Alma's dependence on others, forcing him to confront his weakness and grow self-reliant. And Alma provokes Ryu, challenging his authority, but Ryu calmly invites Alma to attack without hesitation. He sets brutal conditions, no rules, survival decides victory, forcing Alma to face real danger. Before Alma can react, Ryu lunges forward aggressively, starting the fight without any warning or mercy. Ryu orders he to use the stake, teaching him survival instincts essential against deadly Manga. He slams Alma hard against the wall, showing the harsh reality of combat and merciless training. Alma crashes into the wall, pain surging through him as Ryu's brutal strike lands perfect. Ryu declares Alma dead but orders him to stand, signaling the relentless start of round 2. Confused and shaken, Alma demands explanation, realizing Ryu's training is harsher than he ever imagined. Ryu reveals his deep hatred for Manga, his intensity leaving Alma both stunned and unsettled. To strengthen Alma's resolve, Ryu proposes a deadly simulation fight him as if he were Manga. Determined to strike back, Alma charges forward, but Ryu effortlessly blocks his desperate counterattack. Ryu grabs Alma mid-move, slamming him violently to the ground, leaving Alma breathless and stunned. Without pause, Ryu delivers another crushing blow, proving his overwhelming strength and dominance in battle. Alma collapses again, coughing heavily. Ryu coldly declares him dead before demanding he rise once more. Ryu questions Alma's hesitation, warning him that indecision against deadly foes guarantees defeat and death. Sweat trickled down Alma's face as Ryu questioned his fear of losing control again. Towering over him, he demanded clarity, challenging Alma to uncover what truly restrained his instinct. The weight of Ryu's words sank in, forcing Alma to confront fears he thought long buried. With calm precision, he explained Alma's dependence on Tao and urged him to trust his own strength. As they walked across the arena, Ryu advised embracing his blood's power to sharpen survival instinct. Ryu challenges Alma's hesitation, demanding he learn to strike decisively, regardless of an enemy's nature. Alma denies being different, but Ryu forces him to confront his identity and hidden, dangerous strength. Fueled by determination, Alma lands a swift, powerful strike, proving his growing resolve to fight back. Ryu counters effortlessly, reminding Alma that his unique blood grants him unmatched potential and responsibility. Startled by a sudden memory, Alma recalls the warning never allow his heart to become Mag. Past warnings echo in Alma's mind. He can't change his blood, but he controls his choices. Ryu stresses mastering control, urging Alma to restrain his Maga instincts without relying on artificial tools. The mentor reminds him firmly dominate the blood's influence, or it will dominate everything instead. Alma steadies himself, confidence growing as he accepts Ryu's lesson and commits to improving his control. Just as Alma prepares for another round, Ryu casually calls a break, lightening the tense atmosphere. Ryu leaves nonchalantly, confusing Alma, who wonders what's truly going on behind his mentor's attitude. Outside the arena, Ryu speaks with Nei, casually asking if she considers Alma a Mag. Nei explains Alma's situation, revealing his humanity depends entirely on keeping his heart from eroding. Meanwhile, he listens quietly, realizing the intense training exists to prevent him from losing control. Hence the real reason Alma relies on Tao, suggesting deeper emotional ties beneath his restraint. Alma waits impatiently inside the arena, frustrated by Ryu's long absence after their earlier break. Ryu finally returned, looking unconcerned, and instructs he to prepare himself for the next challenge. Nei enters alongside Ryu, carrying a katana, signaling the beginning of a much tougher round. Sitting on the temple steps, Alma froze when Nei appeared unexpectedly, returning from her mission. Before he could speak, the woman lunged forward, seizing his collar with unrestrained strength and frustration. Pinned violently to the ground, Alma felt Nei's drawn blade hovering dangerously close to his chest. Her shadowed face radiated fury, making Alma realize she thought he had disrespected her strict order. Instead of calming down, Nei declared she'd relieve her stress by sparring fiercely against poor Alma. The instructor suddenly announced a change of plan, shocking Alma, who expected regular combat training. Instead, Alma learned he was being forced into a sparring match directly against dangerous Nei. With cold determination, Nei drew her blade, declaring she wouldn't forgive Alma's previous reckless behavior. Their mentor explained the brutal rule survived Nei's hunt by removing the embedded stake or die. Frustrated by the harsh conditions, Alma protested, while the instructor insisted on completing the challenge. Attempting distraction, Alma joked about Nei's long bang, but his nervous eyes betrayed growing fear. Nei immediately dashed forward, blade drawn, forcing Alma to dodge desperately as her attacks intensified rapidly. Rolling backward, Alma barely avoided another strike, realizing her relentless offense left no room for hesitation. While advancing, Nei declared she hated mockery, her cold tone making Alma's earlier remarks dangerous bait. Determined to prove superiority, Nei lunged again, her training disguised as stress relief, pushing Alma's limits. Leaping high, Alma barely evaded Nei's sweeping attack, landing behind her with sudden momentum. Charging forward, he reached for the staff, using it to block her precise overhead strike. Sparks erupted as blade clashed against staff, both refusing to yield an inch of ground. Pinned beneath Nei's strength, Alma struggled fiercely, teeth clenched as her blade edged dangerously closer. With narrowed eyes, she mocked his hesitation, promising she'd survive even if he went berserk. With her blade raised, she assured Alma his fears were unnecessary, her confidence unshaken and absolute. She struck downward fiercely, forcing Alma to brace desperately with his staff against her overpowering strength. The sword grazed his cheek as she demanded surrender, questioning if he finally understood her superiority. Rolling away, Alma narrowly avoided another slash, his eyes wide at Nei's unrelenting determination to dominate. Blood dripping, Alma staggered upright, muttering complaints about her words while preparing himself for another counterattack. Leaping past Nei's strike, Alma confidently shouted she could never kill him despite her strength. Their weapons clashed again violently, Alma barely holding his ground while suppressing a groan of pain. Frustration clouded Alma's face as he questioned her relentlessness, but Nei's expression revealed hidden motives. Later, Alma followed companions into a narrow alley, heading toward one of their secret workplaces. Inside a cramped office, they began reviewing old case files, searching for leads on past incidents. Back at headquarters, the team gathered vital documents, stacking every report relevant current cases. New leads emerged, including a suspicious figure, prompting everyone to coordinate efforts and share intel rapidly. Meanwhile, Alma vented frustration loudly, his exhaustion clashing with the ongoing investigations and unresolved personal conflict. Suddenly, he collapsed dramatically, shocking the others, as Nei's earlier earlier sparring left him severely drained. Panic surged through Nai as she yelled warning, fearing Alma's stubbornness might actually lead to death. Bloodied and exhausted, Alma muttered defiantly, but Nai accused him of cowardice and hesitation. Shouting erupted between them, frustration boiling over as Nai's harsh words struck Alma deeper than wound. Finally, Alma admitted his fear openly, surprising Nai, who paused, seeing unexpected vulnerability behind his anger. Her expression softened briefly before mocking him again, calling him tactless and unprepared for real battle. Then Nai revealed a hidden truth: Tao once spared Alma's life, a mystery still unanswered. Shaken, Alma finally understood when Nai revealed Tao had saved him out of belief. Even Ryu, despite pretending otherwise, and the others trusted Alma's strength more than he realized. Nai shouted fiercely, demanding Alma start believing in himself or risk dragging everyone down in battle. Her voice trembled with anger and determination, urging Alma to act decisively and pull the stake. Overwhelmed, Alma finally acknowledged Nai's strength, admiration softening his expression as respect replaced stubborn defiance. Exhausted and battered, Alma felt relieved, sensing a heavy burden slowly lifting from his shoulders. He realized his path had meaning and aimed to prove himself worthy of Tao's trust. With renewed determination, Alma prepared to pull the embedded stake, fully embracing his inherited strength. Bloodied but determined, Alma yanked the cursed stake from his chest, ignoring the pain entirely. Blade mutated grotesquely in his hand, sprouting bone and muscle, reacting to his awakening. Now transformed, Alma faced his team with a grin. His strength finally matched his monstrous will. Risu teased him confidently, proud he survived, sheathed her sword, knowing he'd passed her test. Their mentor explained calmly pulling the stake wasn't the goal. Surviving transformation was just the beginning. Alma confidently claimed he could last longer. His mentor insisted he needed real combat experience immediately, challenged him fiercely, refusing to hold back. Both prepared to fight seriously without hesitation now. They clashed violently, dashing across the arena. Alma dodged swiftly as Nei's blade narrowly missed his head. Nei's strike landed unexpectedly, sending Alma crashing onto the ground. She hesitated, surprised by his sudden fall. Before anyone reacted, Alma rolled back up. His mentor watched calmly, knowing the real fight continued. While drinking calmly, Dao noticed a suspicious man leading a girl into a dark alley nearby. Inside the observation room, the team monitored Dao. One analyst confirmed he was talking to someone unexpected. He approached two terrified girls. The team grew tense, worried he might harm them suddenly. Another analyst realized the situation was dangerous. They suspected this man might be linked to recent murders. Their research revealed the truth: the black-haired man was notorious hanging murderer, connected to Yomi's group. Tatsumi monitored the screens carefully. The team debated whether the suspect poisoned the missing girls. Later, his partner questioned him seriously, asking if he could kill someone turned into a manga. Meanwhile, he regained consciousness in the infirmary. The doctor calmly confirmed his awakening to Mr. Senno. Confused, Alma asked about his situation. He explained he'd collapsed from massive blood loss during training. He informed him Nei was on a mission. Alma was ordered to eat and recover quickly. Alma entered the training ground, standing silently at the center, preparing himself for another session. His mentor arrived late, moving sluggishly after eating. Alma complained impatiently, eager to start sparring immediately. Stretching his shoulders, the mentor finally stepped forward. Calm and composed, he readied himself for battle. Alma grinned confidently, his energy surging. He taunted his mentor, excited to unleash his full power. Both opponents faced each other in silence. Alma gripped his weapon tightly, awaiting his mentor's. Alma steadied his stand, while Ryu raised his sword calmly, signaling the start of their duel. At Ryu's command, both fighters charged instantly. Alma swung first, but Ryu's counterattacked faster. Ryu blocked Alma's strike smoothly, his blade twisting to redirect the attack without losing balance. Using brute strength, Alma grabbed Ryu mid-movement, lifting and throwing him violently across the training ground. Ryu recovered instantly, landing gracefully before charging low, forcing Alma to defend against another swift strike. Alma raised his weapon high, determination burning, while Ryu carefully tracked every sudden movement. With a swift slash, Ryu shattered the floor tiles, forcing Alma backward to dodge the impact. Leaping overhead, Alma aimed a powerful kick, but Ryu intercepted quickly, blocking with perfect precision. Dark energy surged from Alma's body as he unleashed relentless speed, charging straight toward. Ryu countered sharply, piercing Alma's side. Gasping in pain, Alma collapsed briefly, struggling to regain balance. He announced Alma's failure bluntly, revealing the fight lasted under 30 seconds, frustrating he deeply. Training resumed relentlessly. He pushed harder each round, yet Ryu ended every clash effortlessly again. Exhausted and bleeding, Alma's regeneration slowed. Ryu called the session off, instructing rest before tomorrow's lesson. Later, Alma devoured an absurd amount of food, listing every dish without pausing for breath. Outside the restaurant, Tatsumi teased Alma for failing miserably, while casually ordering fried rice for himself. During lunch, Alma asked about Ms. Tao's whereabouts, learning she'd already left for home. Meanwhile, Tao reflected silently in her car, questioning whether she could kill someone turned Mag. Tatsumi answered confidently, believing he could do it if necessary, without hesitation clouding his judgment. He explained that Mangas endure unbearable suffering, insisting ending their lives would actually be merciful. Later, Tatsumi and Tao investigated together, confirming their suspicions about a potential new case emerging. Tao stared at the monitor, struggling to recognize the blurry face from 9 years ago. She silently rode through the quiet streets, cigarette in hand, replaying fragmented memories and unanswered questions. Reaching the shrine, Tao hesitated. The case involved forces beyond humans demanding answers from forgotten gods. Elsewhere, a wounded woman lay in bed, haunted by visions of violence and lingering despair. Inside the shrine, an old rope swayed gently, hiding secrets of ancient rituals and forbidden power. Tao approached the shrine slowly, freezing when she discovered a lifeless body hanging before her eyes. Shocked, she raised her lighter unconsciously, her eyes narrowing as she recognized the man's features. The rope creaked above, and Tao whispered his name, realizing Jin had returned after 9 years. Takashi stood outside the shrine, calling Jin's name, uncertain if the man before her lived. Jin kept his head lowered, silent, while Tao's tense gaze searched his hidden expression carefully. Finally, Jin smiled faintly, greeting her as Big Sis, his voice carrying familiarity and restrained warmth. Tao froze, struggling to reconcile memories with reality, her steps hesitant as conflicting emotions overwhelmed her. Slowly, Jin approached. The distance between them shrank, tension heavy, neither willing to speak further yet. With steady hands, Tao raised her gun toward Jin, suspicion gnawing at her already restless thoughts. Her voice sharpened as she demanded the truth, yet Jin calmly insisted he was truly family. Pulling back his hair, Jin exposed the scar, urging her to recall their tragic, painful history. Neither moved an inch, guns drawn, silence thickened between them, trust hanging by a fragile thread. Eventually, Jin retreated a step, his faint smirk deepening Tao's doubts about his identity and tension. With a faint smile, he revealed his scar, calmly declaring he wasn't Jin but called Yoru. Tao's grip tightened, demanding answers about Jin's whereabouts, while Yoru insisted she address him differently now. The atmosphere darkened, unseen memories echoed as a voice taunted Tao, forcing her to accept reality. Expression unshaken. Yoru admitted Jin's death, claiming her actions were responsible, his words piercing like cold steel. A flashback unfolded, a brutal child, a fanatical mother, and an abusive father selling body parts. Young Tao accepted her mother's absence, knowing their abusive father's anger would now target her. Late at night, Tao comforted Jin, answering his innocent questions and hiding her own silent pain. Promising freedom, she reassured him they'd escape together someday, vowing to protect him at all costs. That promise never came true. Violence erupted instead, dragging them deeper into chaos and irreversible tragedy. Desperation consumed their father, who attempted to sell Tao to erase his debts, shattering her resolve. Rumors spread about their father's cruelty. Tao struggled while outsiders mocked her burden, exploited childhood. A beast-faced man offered false sympathy before threatening, demanding money she didn't truly possess. Memories surfaced of marked wrists, debts traded, and the endless cycle of survival controlling her life. One humid night, Tao urged Jin to dress lightly, hiding the pain carved into her skin. Startled, Jin noticed Tao's injury, questions rising between siblings, their childhood innocence already long destroyed. Tao apologized tearfully, revealing she endured exploitation to save money, while Jin struggled to understand everything. Their father's fury erupted, demanding hidden cash meant for debts, accusations, and shouting filling the cramped room. Violence followed. Glass shattered as he struck Tao, raising a bottle, his madness spiraling out of control. Jin tried protecting his sister, but chaos consumed them, threats screaming louder than their desperate pleas for safety. After the assault, Tao trembled over Jin, believing their father less human, more demon born of cruelty. Tao gave up the hidden cash, begging him to leave Jin alone just once. That night, she promised to earn more. Jin only wanted to stay near her side. Silently, she dressed herself for something final, slipping a concealed pistol into her waistband with resolve. Later, Jin surprised her with a handmade cake, bruised but smiling, wishing her happy birthday. She ate quietly, eyes. Jin watched, relieved, just happy her stomach wasn't empty tonight. Jin begged Tao to stop risking herself, fearing she'd follow their mother's tragic self-destructive path. Despite his pleas, Tao insisted dangerous work was necessary. Without money, freedom was impossible for them. Holding him tightly, she reassured Jin again she'd protect him no matter the sacrifices required. Later, Tao considered leaving the syndicate, but survival and Jin's safety outweighed her personal exhaustion. The boss mocked her hesitation, reminding her she'd never escape the business she'd already bled for. Tao sat chained, exhausted and bruised, realizing her reckless choices had trapped her deeper than expected. expected. Days blurred together. Beaten and restrained, she endured, her only thought fixed on returning to Jin. Suddenly, Tao attacked her captor without hesitation, biting his neck fiercely, turning desperation into violent defiance. Blood sprayed. She grabbed his knife, slashing wildly until the man collapsed, overwhelmed by her resolve. Barely breathing, Tao stumbled outside, clutching the weapon, determined to survive for Jin's sake alone. Tao escaped her captivity, trembling as she stepped outside, clutching the handle tightly in desperation. Inside, Jin's lifeless body lay cold on the floor, a silent reminder of their shattered family. The house stood abandoned, filled with remnants of chaos and despair, memories lingering like trapped shadows. Years later, Tao confessed she only wished Jin was alive, regardless of his bloody choice. Her companion warned grimly, finding Jin again might reveal a truth darker than she could endure. Jin returned with a twisted smile, his expression unreadable, blurring the line between life and death. Tao trembled, questioning reality itself, desperate to know if her brother truly died years ago. A memory resurfaced, Jin gifting her something precious, yet hidden truths behind that smile haunted her thoughts. Suddenly, Alma intervened, furious, demanding answers and refusing to let anyone harm Tao any further. With explosive force, Alma attacked, shattering the standoff as Tao raised her weapon, chaos consuming everything. Tao explains that mangas are monsters born from resurrected corpses, forcing her to prepare her gun. She recalls killing Kanata, realizing it was mercy. Mangas endure unbearable torment unless destroyed completely. Nearby, a frightened boy cries uncontrollably, reaching out as chaos unfolds, confused and terrified by everything. Tao steadies her trembling hand, sweating, confronting an unseen threat while questioning what's happening around her. A sudden attack erupts. Tao fires instantly, wounding her enemy as she fiercely protects herself. Alma charges forward, glaring fiercely, while his opponent smirks confidently, hiding unknown intentions behind that grin. Sweat drips from Tao's face as she gasps, while Alma swiftly launches a sudden, powerful kick. The kick lands brutally on the opponent's head, sending shockwaves as fragments scatter from the violent impact. Without hesitation, Alma spins around, slamming another strike. His movements grow faster, driven purely by survival. Tao shouts Alma's name desperately, watching him leap forward recklessly toward danger, refusing to retreat or surrender. Alma freezes in shock as an enormous force crashes down, shaking the ground violently beneath them. His opponent lies defeated, smiling faintly, despite bloodied lips, mocking Alma even in apparent death. Later, Alma spots the same boy from before, noticing unsettling changes in his demeanor and presence. Inside a diner, they exchange crucial information, discovering the boy's link to Tao's 9-year investigation. Finally, the truth emerges. The mysterious boy is revealed as the infamous hanging murderer everyone feared. Alma confronts the boy lying on the ground, shocked to realize his true hidden identity. Tao struggles to keep her composure, sweat dripping as buried memories resurface painfully within her. The boy laughs bitterly, accusing Tao of betrayal, claiming she abandoned him for complete strangers. Confusion spreads. Alma demands answers, and the boy coldly reveals he is Tao's younger brother. He mocks her silence, suggesting his suffering and presumed death were caused entirely by Tao's choices. Jin smiles eerily, hinting at introducing someone dangerous, his intentions cloaked in unsettling mystery. Suddenly, his body trembles violently. Alma and Tao watch as something uncontrollable begins awakening inside him. Confused, Jin questions his actions, then grins unsettlingly upon recognizing Alma from their earlier encounter. Tao finally calls his name, Jin, revealing her deep connection to him and buried emotion. Jin freezes in terror, staring upward, realizing something horrifying has appeared beyond his control or comprehension. Alma declares his growth, vowing to fight independently as monstrous creatures close in threateningly behind him. Determined, he asks Tao to trust him. She hesitates briefly before nodding, allowing him to proceed. Clutching his blade tightly, Alma focuses his resolve, preparing to unleash everything against the approaching beast. The creatures lunge violently, but Alma stands firm, ready to face them without hesitation or fear. A single swift slash cuts through the air, striking down the first attacker with lethal precision. Alma charges fiercely into the horde, blades flashing as monstrous creatures swarm relentlessly around him. With a swift, calculated strike, Alma's blade tears through several beasts, forcing them back instantly. One creature screams violently as acid gushes from its wound, spilling uncontrollably onto the ground. Suddenly, Alma gets struck. Acidic fluid splashes across his face, his scream echoing in agony. Despite the pain, he hurls the wounded monster aside, sending its body crashing violently away. Alma slashes downward violently, splitting a monstrous creature in half as chaos surrounds the battlefield. Another beast lunges from behind, but Alma twists and impales it, forcing it backward instantly. Meanwhile, Jin kneels nearby, trembling, while terrifying new creatures emerge from distorted shadows around him. Suddenly, Suddenly, monstrous skull-faced forms rush toward Jin. Startled, he stumbles back, narrowly avoiding their deadly strike. Alma glares fiercely, his aura surging, unleashing overwhelming energy that blasts surrounding beasts into shreds. Alma spins mid-air, slicing through several creatures simultaneously, his movements precise and fueled by desperation. Jin watches in horror, frozen, as the chaotic battle grows deadlier with every passing second. He stumbles backward, begging Alma to stay away, while Tao desperately shouts warnings from behind. Ignoring his pleas, Alma advances, blade drawn, commanding Jin to stay back before it's too late. Jin screams in frustration, demanding answers, while Alma struggles through his own pain, bleeding but unyielding. Jin confronts Alma angrily, demanding answers, accusing him of deception and questioning his true intention. Alma, bloodied yet resolute, defends Tao fiercely, declaring her honesty and unwavering loyalty despite everything. Overwhelmed, Jin shouts back, refusing to believe Alma's words, his bitterness against Tao resurfacing violently. Alma insists Tao has searched tirelessly for Jin these 9 years, but Jin denies everything stubbornly. Exhausted, Alma struggles to breathe yet pushes forward, determined, whispering defiantly that he's not finished yet. Jin confronts Alma and Tao, insisting everything Tao says is a lie, hiding deeper secrets. Alma argues back bitterly, recalling their painful past, blaming abandonment and struggles their mother never solved. With a cold smile, Jin admits killing their father, his confession shifting the tension entirely. Tao trembles as she remembers Jin's attempt to end his life after witnessing their father's death. A haunting memory surfaces. Young Jin's twisted grin blames Tao entirely, shattering the fragile bonds between them. Alma fiercely attacked his opponent, landing a critical blow, while the enemy retaliated with a gunshot. Tao intervened with precision, aiming her weapon, forcing Alma's opponent to retreat temporarily in shock. Alma struggled to catch his breath, gripping his weapon tightly, while his opponent barely remained standing. The opponent mocked Alma, revealing he was only a stand-in, hiding the true mastermind's identity. Exhausted, he realized the confrontation was merely a setup. As Tao decided to regroup strategically, he warned Alma and Tao, claiming everything Tao believed was false and completely fabricated. Alma struggled to accept the accusations, recalling painful memories about their absent mother and unstable childhood. Revealing shocking truth, the man confessed to killing their father, explaining Jin's protection and hidden secrets. Tao recalled Jin's despair, realizing his suicide stemmed from guilt and overwhelming trauma caused by betrayal. He mocked Alma coldly, blaming him entirely for Jin's death and their family's suffering, expressed gratitude despite everything, revealing his fate led him to meet Yomi unexpectedly. He recalled Yomi giving him safety, belonging, and the family he had always desired. With a twisted smile, he admitted feeling happier since death, embracing his existence under Yomi. Alma glared furiously as the man vowed to keep killing for Yomi's sake without hesitation. After taunting them, he retreated through a mysterious portal, leaving cryptic evidence stained with blood behind. Yoru returns to the city after a long absence, greeted warmly by his companion under the night sky. At their hideout, a cheerful man burst in, excited after finally witnessing a long-awaited reaction. During dinner, they discuss Alma's unexpected involvement and Teo's caring yet overly gullible nature toward her brother. Later that night, the cheerful man's smile fades, secretly planning to kill Tao during their next encounter. Meanwhile, another group begins interrogating a captured informant, determined to uncover the deeper plot surrounding Tao's fate. Teo learns from investigators that her brother Jin has become a manga, shocking everyone present. Shocked by the revelation, Alma angrily questions Tao, frustrated she never revealed this information earlier. Teo calmly explains she never told anyone, realizing Jin's discovery came from his independent investigation. Alma hesitates but confirms Jin's statements were true, accepting the painful reality about Tao's brother. Teo reflects on her past decision, regretting leaving Jin behind and feeding him comforting lies. Teo calmly denies abandoning Jin, insisting she always believed she was protecting him from danger. Alma feels reassured but grows curious about Shi's mysterious path, wanting to understand her better. He asks Tao to rely on him more, showing growing determination to support her direct. Tao accepts Jin's transformation into a manga, resolving to eliminate both him and Yoru's personality. Alma realizes Jin's split personality explains his strange behavior and their previous confusing encounters together. After resolving recent issues, Tao thanks Alma for saving her, requesting Chinese hot pot as repayment. Her friends comfort Tao, urging her to open up more and depend on their support. Tao reassures them she has always relied on their help, appreciating their unwavering loyalty deep. Another ally arrives, scolding Tao for risking herself recklessly. Expressing relief she returned safely this time. The group prepares for another mission, tensions rising as one member storms out planning immediate revenge. Excitedly, Alma bursts in with new information, revealing another gruesome case threatening Gokura Kogai's peace. While handing over documents, he explains the growing dangers and warns Tayo about increasing mysterious death. Photos display horrific evidence: crushed bodies, unexplained starvation, and men bleeding from every possible orifice. According to Alma, these murders follow a disturbing pattern resembling Jin's killing, yet seem even stranger. Unseen maga, indistinguishable from humans, now roam Gokurakogai freely, silently hunting and killing unsuspecting residents. Business at the restaurant slows down, and Alma eagerly volunteers to make quick delivery money. He's tasked with delivering food to their regular customer, Miss Maki, whom Alma already knows. Arriving at Maki's apartment, Alma greets him cheerfully, unaware of the unsettling encounter awaiting inside. Maki complains about expecting someone named Sweet Yaya, leaving Alma confused and slightly irritated by it. While teasing Maki about his strangely tidy room, Alma senses something unusual hidden beneath Maki's behavior. While delivering food, Maki boasts about his girlfriend, confusing Alma with cryptic gestures and strange hints. Maki explains he splurged on food to celebrate a one-week anniversary, revealing sudden unexpected romance. Bragging continues as Maki warns Alma his girlfriend dislikes other girls visiting, hinting at possessive tendency. Later, Alma discusses recent murders with Yoki, suspecting superhuman abilities similar to Jin's disturbing powers. They review Jin's capability to kill without touch, linking him to strangulations and unexplained asphyxiation cases. During their investigation, Alma reveals shocking news. Jin supposedly died by hanging himself 9 years ago. Tao theorizes that Amaga's supernatural abilities may originate directly from the circumstances of their death. The team concludes that victims showing crushed, starved, or bleeding signs were likely killed by specific Maga. Discussion shifts to Yomi, Jin's so-called family, hinting at a powerful network protecting dangerous Maga. They decide that locating one of Yomi's allies might finally uncover critical information about Jin's connection. Yoki agrees to share the gathered intel, warning Tao's group about potential unknown Maga ability. Later, Tao reviews recent reports quietly, reflecting on unresolved threats lurking around Gokurakugai's chaotic streets. Meanwhile, Alma laments his exhausting job, frustrated by meager wages despite working relentless, demanding hours daily. He wonders grimly if overwork could define his death, connecting abilities with each Maga's demise. Tao questions Alma about recognizing Yomi, but Alma recalls an unsettling encounter that made him uneasy. After planning their next moves, the group decides to rest, preparing for extensive investigations tomorrow. The following morning, Alma receives an urgent call from the restaurant, requesting another fast delivery. He complains about wearing his uniform again while Tao calmly insists, reminding him of appearances. Alma suspects Maki's extravagant spending continues, sarcastically wondering about another sudden anniversary celebration. Upon arriving, Alma knocks and jokes about Maki's unusual effort, unaware something strange awaits inside. Alma arrives at Maki's apartment, finding him injured and terrified, desperately begging for immediate help. Suddenly, a mysterious woman appears, cornering Alma and demanding why Maki is fleeing from Utsuro. Alma froze as a terrified man clung to him. A shadowy figure blocked the doorway. The woman stormed closer, fists trembling. She screamed, accusing them of betrayal, while Alma stepped back cautiously. Tears streaming, she shouted about another woman. Her voice cracked, revealing deep jealousy and fragile emotions. Alma panicked, trying to explain the misunderstanding. His words failed, and her anger continued to escalate rapidly. She grabbed a knife, declaring no one could look elsewhere. Alma realized immediate danger approached. Alma and Meiko screamed in terror as the knife came closer, fearing an unavoidable attack. He quickly grabbed her wrist, stopping the blade just inches away, desperately trying to restrain her. With tears falling, she confessed her intent. Alma asked if she truly wanted Meiko dead. She declared that if Meiko died, he would belong to her completely, forever and ever. Collapsing in despair, she sobbed. Her obsessive love frightened everyone, yet Alma sensed deeper hidden pain. Alma firmly prohibited stabbing or punching. Utsuro reluctantly complied, though her tears revealed lingering frustration. Accusations flew as Meiko defended himself, blaming others. Utsuro's silence deepened, masking her wounded feeling. Alma explained calmly that Utsuro's worries came from love. Slowly she listened, processing his words carefully. Alma advised Meiko to stay attentive to her. Both sides agreed to avoid violent confrontations completely. Finally, Alma offered reassurance and a solution, urging peace while promising to mediate future conflicts fairly. Utsuro's mood shifted instantly, overjoyed and relieved, finally accepting Alma's calming intervention completely. Later, Alma recounted everything, explaining Utsuro's irrational outburst and the chaos he barely contained. Outside, Alma warned Meiko seriously about Utsuro's obsession, suggesting breaking up before worse danger unfolded. unfolded. He protested through tears, revealing their relationship hadn't progressed, insisting his feelings were genuine despite everything. Finally, Alma softened, understanding Mako's struggles. They agreed to handle Utsuro's emotions carefully moving forward. Mako confessed at a diner, explaining how his wandering eyes triggered Utsuro's extreme jealousy earlier. Alma scolded Mako for ignoring Utsuro's feelings, while Mako blamed instinct and endless misunderstanding. Despite everything, Mako tearfully insisted Utsuro truly loved him, cherishing even small gestures deep. Mako admitted he couldn't break up despite her violent tendencies, realizing his genuine feelings conflicted constantly. He later explained the situation, revealing Mako's desperation and why he hesitated to seek outside help. Later, Alma prepared to leave, knowing Mako would likely end up in trouble again soon. Mako apologized sincerely to Utsuro's admitting his mistake, while she quietly acknowledged her temper had flared. Despite the chaos, they exchanged heartfelt confessions, admitting their feelings for each other openly at last. Mako promised to change his habits, realizing how deeply Utsuro's love and fears truly ran. Finally, the two reconciled, sealing their promise of trust and understanding with a tender, quiet moment. Utsuro, overwhelmed with emotion, kissed he, claiming victory as her happiness visibly consumed her completely. Suddenly, blood dripped onto the floor. Mako froze, confused, sensing something ominous happening to Utsuro. Mako stared in shock as dark liquid poured from Utsuro's mouth, spreading uncontrollably everywhere. Utsuro clung tightly to him, whispering her eternal love, declaring he now belonged only to her. Outside, Alma sensed unease from afar, muttering to himself as an inexplicable dread filled the air. At a diner, Alma noted Mako's unusual silence, expecting him to need help again soon. Leaving the shop, Alma spotted Utsuro nearby, unexpectedly reappearing after the unsettling events days earlier. Alma called out, startling Utsuro. She hesitated but followed him toward the Gokurakugai troubleshooter agents invited her inside, trying to keep things casual while noticing her nervous, uncertain behavior. Inside the office, Utsuro awkwardly avoided small talk, revealing she had an urgent question instead. Utsuro directly questioned Alma, asking if he liked her or secretly despised her entirely. Alma hesitated, confused. He admitted she couldn't stop thinking about him since their first meeting. Lowering her gaze, Utsuro warned softly, once she desires someone, she never lets them go. With trembling words, she confessed the truth openly. Utsuro had fallen deeply in love with Alma. Before Alma could respond, the door burst open suddenly, revealing someone unexpected entering the office. A sudden ambush knocked Alma to the floor as an unknown attacker pinned him down forcefully. Alma struggled to breathe, locking eyes with Tao, who observed silently, calculating the next move. He knelt on the floor, dazed and silent, while Mims Tao entered, demanding he clean everything immediately. Suddenly, a mysterious girl appeared and pinned another man down, prompting everyone to question her identity. She refused to explain, instead demanding answers about Tao, while tensions in the room escalated quickly. Confusion deepened as wild questions flew around, but Alma finally revealed she was Mr. Maki's girlfriend. To clarify misunderstandings, Alma firmly declared their professional relationship. Tao was simply her subordinate at work. Alma nervously introduced himself, shocking the girl, who realized he was the one mentioned before. Overjoyed by the revelation, the girl tightly hugged Alma, insisting their meeting was destined fate. Alma panicked, overwhelmed by her excitement, while others misread the situation and assumed they were romantically involved. Frustration grew as accusations flew, misunderstandings deepened, and Alma desperately tried to clarify the chaotic situation. Realizing he hurt her feelings, Alma apologized sincerely, while another explained that Utsuro's behavior was completely normal. Utsuro confessed she liked Alma directly, leaving him confused and questioning her sudden intentions carefully. She explained choosing her despite obstacles would prove his feeling, implying deeper loyalty and devotion mattered. Suddenly, Utsuro dashed out of the room urgently, leaving Alma puzzled and slightly concerned about her. Moments later, Utsuro confronted Yaya, demanding to know her connection with Alma and challenging her presence. Misunderstandings escalated quickly. Utsuro assumed Alma preferred Yaya, causing tension and chaotic accusations between them. Chaos erupted as accusations flew, leaving Alma defensive and Utsuro increasingly embarrassed and frustrated. Afterwards, Alma confronted Utsuro outside, frustrated by her impulsiveness, while she apologized quietly for earlier misunderstanding. Utsuro's emotions spiraled deeper. Alone, she whispered regrets while dangerous thoughts began consuming her unstable mind. Alma stopped her self-destructive attempt, shocked by her despair, while she questioned his true feelings directly. Overwhelmed, Alma struggled to reason with her. Utsuro mistook his frustration as rejection, worsening the tension. Alma is shocked as Utsuro reacts unexpectedly, feeling even more attached after his harsh rejection. Utsuro insists she doesn't want to break up, while he clarifies they're not even dating. Outside, Alma explains that Utsuro isn't strange or different. hinting that they are very alike. Calmly reveals she's just like Alma, emphasizing she's human and not an alien. Smiling, Utsuro boldly asks he to go on a date, determined to stay close. Alma excitedly prepared to explore the bustling district, unaware of the dangerous investigation surrounding him. Elsewhere, Tao received a call discussing Alma's situation, withholding critical details about an unknown threat. Tao reassured herself, believing Alma was fine, though his prolonged absence hinted at something unusual unfolding. Her confidence wavered upon discovering Alma's bloodstained jacket, realizing he had encountered something far more dangerous. Tao urgently ordered Tatsumi to track Alma, fearing the mysterious girl Utsuro was connected to everything. He questioned Yaya about Alma's whereabouts, while discreetly gathering Mr. Maki's address for investigation. Meanwhile, Alma walked beside Utsuro through lively streets, unaware of her hidden motives during their outing. Utsuro subtly controlled the date's pace, suggesting plans that kept Alma distracted from potential danger. Elsewhere, Tao arrived at Mr. Maki's residence, finding bloodstains and a lifeless body inside. She discovered another corpse nearby, realizing these murders were connected and Alma might be the target. Utsuro laughed joyfully, hiding her true intention, as Alma relaxed, trusting her completely. The two spent the day shopping, eating, and wandering, Utsuro keeping Alma constantly distracted. At an arcade, Utsuro encouraged Alma to win prizes, deepening his comfort and lowering suspicion. Night fell over the city, and Utsuro led Alma toward a scenic riverside location. Sitting beside Utsuro, Alma sensed something unusual, unaware danger lurked beneath her cheerful demeanor. Alma reflected on enjoying the day, unaware Utsuro's cheerful smile masked deeply hidden intention. Utsuro subtly urged Alma to head home, but something in her tone hinted hidden motives. Instead of leaving, Utsuro clung tightly to Alma, refusing to let the evening end. Emotions flared as Utsuro confessed her feeling, desperately wishing Alma would reciprocate despite everything else. Alma gently refused, suggesting friendship instead, hoping to calm her without escalating the situation further. Utsuro's cheerful mask shattered, revealing obsession. Her quiet words made Alma uneasy and cautious. Without warning, Utsuro struck Alma's chest, dark energy pulsing violently as his strength faltered instantly. Alma gasped for breath, coughing blood, realizing Utsuro's intentions were far more dangerous than imagined. Another figure appeared, explaining Utsuro's desperation. Alma was targeted, and Utsuro feared losing him forever. Overwhelmed, Utsuro screamed Alma belonged to her alone, refusing to surrender him, even against Mr. Yomi. Utsuro, consumed by obsession, raised her knife, prepared to kill Alma rather than lose him. Even wounded, Alma realized Utsuro no longer cared about her life, only possessing him completely. The city buzzed that night as agents confirmed Utsuro's location and prepared to intervene carefully. Inside a car, information flowed Utsuro was last seen heading toward the coastal park secretly. Rumors revealed she dark past vanished lover, blood-soaked apartment, and unexplained violent deaths nearby. Suddenly, Utsuro appeared, expression unreadable, hiding intentions behind calm eyes filled with quiet tension. Without warning, Utsuro attacked viciously, cornering Alma, forcing him to defend against her sudden rage. Alma thrust his blade forward, piercing Utsuro's body, but she barely flinched despite bleeding heavily. He glanced at his wounded arm, realizing her counterattack was faster and far deadlier than expected, advanced mercilessly, slicing through Alma's defenses as sparks of blood scattered across the ground. He collapsed, gasping at the overwhelming pain, confused by Utsuro's sudden strength and unnatural speed. Utsuro whispered coldly, "He in the way," before striking again, pushing Alma to his limit. Alma coughed blood, desperately urging his unseen ally to run before Utsuro's deadly attacks continued. Before finishing his warning, Alma took another brutal hit, his strength rapidly fading under relentless pressure. Utsuro's blade struck violently, forcing Alma down. His wounds deepened while his defenses shattered completely. Alma collapsed against the pavement, gasping weakly as Utsuro calmly approached, her intentions still unknown. With a chilling smile, Utsuro whispered, suggesting they end everything together in a suicide pact. Utsuro suddenly froze, her expression shifting as unexpected memories resurfaced, breaking her deadly composure instantly. Alma struggled to breathe, blood dripping steadily, while Utsuro questioned her actions with trembling confusion. Her words turned manic, she stabbed repeatedly, screaming why while demanding Alma never betray her. A chilling smile spread across Utsuro's face as Alma's strength waned, his consciousness slipping rapidly. Memories revealed Utsuro's tragic past, failed escapes, broken surroundings, and a life consumed entirely by despair. Groggy and disoriented, Utsuro slowly rose from the bed, startled by an unexpected presence nearby. Confused, she froze when her gaze met the stranger's calm smile, realizing something was terribly wrong. Man's gentle voice assured her, revealing she had died and offering eternal happiness instead. Flashes of the past flooded her mind, harsh words, ignored cries, and endless scars of rejection. A faint smile formed as she finally believed someone would notice her, validating her desperate action. Utsuro hesitated, hearing the stranger call her name, his calm demeanor strangely comforting and unsettling. He introduced himself as Yomi, and her voice trembled slightly when she repeated it. Her gaze shifted toward Alma's pendant, recognizing Yomi's identical ring, and confusion overwhelmed her completely. Alma gasped weakly, blood pooling beneath him, as Utsuro grip tightened around the dagger's handle. Finally losing control, she plunged the blade downward, driven by tangled emotions and relentless, chaotic memories. Alma's breathing grew heavier as Utsuro accused him, her words sharp, mixing jealousy with desperation. Blood dripping down his chin, Alma glared fiercely and demanded his pendant back without hesitation. Her eyes widened in shock as the blade struck, forcing her to instinctively block the attack. Recovering quickly, Utsuro twisted her body, deflecting the strike before retaliating with incredible precision and speed. Calm returned to her face as she tossed the pendant aside, whispering softly, almost mockingly. Alma examined his injured hand, shocked that the bleeding wouldn't stop despite his usual rapid healing. Realization dawned as Alma accused her of being the blood-lost death Manga. Utsuro embraced the name. Without hesitation, Utsuro lunged forward, swinging her blade fiercely, forcing Alma into a defensive retreat. A fiery strike connected, sending Alma crashing backward, his breath ragged while Utsuro burning energy intensified. Smoke and sparks filled the air as Utsuro laughed softly, regaining her balance with unsettled calmness. Utsuro staggered, clutching her stomach, accusing Alma bitterly while questioning his loyalty and intention. Determined and bloodied, Alma glared back coldly, demanding Utsuro stop interfering and face him directly. Utsuro narrowly avoided Alma's sudden strike, her breathing uneven as the escalating tension thickened around them. Despite the clash, Alma hesitated briefly, acknowledging the unsettling humanity still present within Utsuro action. They locked eyes silently, both wounded and exhausted, neither willing to surrender as the fight intensified. Alma swallowed a strange capsule, feeling an intense surge coursing through his body immediately afterward. Suddenly, Utsuro convulsed violently, her transformation accelerating as uncontrollable power erupted from within her. He watched warily while steadying himself, realizing these pills carried dangerous side effects if misused. Piercing gaze locked on Alma as she demanded to know the identity of Kanata. Calm but cutting, she accused he of hypocrisy, questioning his morality while mocking his own deception. Alma summoned numerous blades around him, preparing a powerful counterattack while confronting Utsuro directly. Utsuro smiled darkly, revealing her true identity and power, determined to finish the confrontation completely. Over 80 corpses were discovered, each mutilated differently, suggesting dangerous mangas linked to their deaths. Despite their violent history with mangas, Tao was instructed this time to avoid killing them. The mission required capturing mangas alive to extract crucial information regarding Yomi and his mysterious family. Alma quietly reflected on the word family, realizing Yomi's ties could complicate their investigation deeply. Their orders were clear: if encountering a manga, capture it alive, no exception, no mistakes. Alma's gaze sharpened, sweat dripping as multiple deadly projectiles hurled toward him without warning. He dodged swiftly, twisting his body while countless blades rained from above, shattering the ground violently. A sharp strike grazed his arm, drawing blood, yet Alma clenched his weapon and endured. He lunged forward fiercely, blade glowing faintly, aiming directly at his opponent's exposed defense gap. Despite deep wound, Alma roared and struck decisively, determination overpowering pain in the intense confrontation. Alma struggles to see, realizing her blood in his eye triggered the uncontrollable projectile storm. Blades tear through the air mercilessly, striking Alma's body as he desperately resists collapsing entirely. His opponent steps forward, wielding a grotesque burning blade, ready to finish Alma without hesitation. She swings violently, scattering sparks, but Alma endures, preparing a desperate counterattack despite severe wound. Gathering his remaining strength, Alma unleashes a wide slash, forcing his relentless opponent backward at last. Alma narrowly dodges her attack, realizing one mistake would leave him without blood to regenerate. His opponent, a pure maga, recovers effortlessly. Alma knows destroying her core is essential. Despite injuries, Alma's resilience impresses her, acknowledging his strength compared to those defeated by Utsuro. She prepares another strike, determined to pierce Alma's core, knowing mere wounds cannot kill him. Alma hesitates, struggling with his mission, capturing a maga alive without dying in battle. Alma steadies himself near the edge, exhausted and wounded, searching for any chance to counter. Blood drips steadily as Alma analyzes his surroundings, preparing for the opponent's inevitable next strike. A sudden powerful slash destroys the railing up. Alma leaps back instinctively, narrowly avoiding fatal damage. Their blades clash violently, neither gaining advantage, both determined to end this relentless battle decisively. Alma launches a low counterattack, slicing toward her leg, forcing her backward with calculated precision. Alma's blade strikes cleanly, severing her arm as blood splatters, fragments scatter violently. He steadies his his breathing atop the railing, dodging multiple projectiles rapidly closing in around him. Leaping into the air, Alma evades another barrage, blades splashing violently into the water below. He counters with a powerful kick, slamming his opponent backward while maintaining relentless offensive pressure. Finally, Alma delivers a decisive blow, aiming directly at her core to end everything permanent. The fountain erupts violently while Alma approaches cautiously, sensing his opponent's power still remains dangerous. Soaked and trembling, she emerges from the water, her rage boiling as Alma watches silently nearby. She pleads desperately, invoking Utsuro orders, demanding Alma obey instead of resisting their twisted troll. Her face contorts with fury, screaming threats as Alma remains unmoved, preparing for the final strike. Alma wipes the blood from his face, gaze steady, ready to end the battle. She staggers forward from the fountain, confused and weakened, realizing her body isn't regenerating properly. Panicking, she notices her wounds worsening. Alma calmly points out her regeneration is slowing drastically. Alma explains his strategy: her blood and weapons dissolve in water, weakening her regenerative abilities. He taunts her confidently, asking if his deduction is correct while she seethes with frustration. Enraged and desperate, she lunges recklessly toward Alma, determined to strike before collapsing completely. Pinned beneath her, Alma struggles to push back as her weapon inches dangerously close. Furious, she screams defiantly, insisting her strength remains unmatched despite Alma's clever tactics against her. Alma braces against her overwhelming power as she suddenly confesses, begging him to belong. She claims Utsuro loves Alma deeply, demanding he reciprocate, but Alma refuses to yield emotionally. Enraged, Alma shouts back, rejecting her obsession and condemning her selfishness and relentless manipulation completely. She screams desperately, denying Alma's harsh words, convinced he'd never reject Utsuro so cruelly. Crying, she insists Alma and Utsuro are destined soulmates, demanding he make Utsuro happy. She raises her weapon to strike again, but a distant gunshot interrupts the confrontation. Tao arrives suddenly, claiming Alma as her subordinate, her presence halting the deadly struggle instant. Pointing her gun firmly, Tao warns Alma's opponent never to interfere without her explicit permission. Alma calls out to Tao for help as the fight escalates into its breaking. His opponent furiously claims Alma belongs to Utsuro, threatening Tao with death for interfering here. Tao faces her calmly, readying herself as the enraged opponent screams, preparing a lethal strike. In a swift motion, Tao counters fiercely, delivering a devastating kick that shatters her balance. Without hesitation, Tao draws her gun, ready to finish the fight once and for all. Tao stands over the defeated opponent, her dominance clear as the wounded Manga kneels helplessly below. Alma notices the fallen stake, realizing its significance, while the Manga struggles weakly to move. Tao lifts the unconscious opponent effortlessly, praises Alma's efforts, and calmly declares it's time to return. She collapsed unconscious, bleeding heavily, while two men quickly loaded her into a waiting van. Alma, exhausted and injured, reported their success over the communicator, requesting interrogation preparations immediately. Inside the car, Tao praised Alma's effort, promising food as they returned with their captive. The van drove through Gokurakugai's busy streets, carrying secrets that could shatter fragile local peace. Later, Alma sat bandaged, silent and determined, as persistent wounds reminded him of unfinished battles. Alma recovered slowly from his wounds, Tao explaining the enemy's powerful blood loss magic attack. They discussed rare karmic restraint stakes, forged from ancient alloys capable of sealing Mega blood. The phone rang urgently, signaling a summons from Mr. Rino regarding a critical new mission. Before Alma could finish eating, Tao interrupted, informing him he was required immediately upstairs. Together they entered the creaking elevator, tension rising as another dangerous confrontation awaited them ahead. Alma and Tao walked through the secure underground hallway, heading toward a heavily guarded interrogation room. Arriving at the door, Alma reluctantly prepared himself, uneasy about meeting the person inside again. Inside, a masked figure confronted Alma coldly, scolding his lateness before inviting everyone inside. The masked man reported failure, explaining the humanoid Manga escaped despite his brutal, relentless assault. Tao demanded confirmation about the captive's safety, relieved when assured the woman remained completely unharmed. The captured woman sat restrained, silent and motionless, awaiting interrogation in a cold, empty room. Alma defended his actions, explaining he only followed orders and fulfilled his assigned responsibilities. The masked interrogator revealed 3 findings: her resistance failed, torture useless, and karmic restraints blocked speech. Because of her feelings, they needed Alma. She adored him, making him the key. She agreed to speak only with Alma, revealing crucial information connected to Yomi's hidden secrets. Alma received a list of prepared questions, nervously assigned to interrogate the restrained captive. He approached the interrogation room cautiously, knowing every response would be monitored from outside. Inside, the captive's expression transformed instantly, joyfully calling Alma's name upon finally seeing him. Alma attempted questioning about Yomi's intention, but she kept deflecting, reminiscing about their date. Frustrated, Alma insisted she reveal Yomi's plan, while the team outside observed their interaction carefully. Frustrated, Alma snapped and shouted, overwhelmed by the captive's evasive answers and strange behavior. He confronted her directly, questioning her feeling and demanding clarity about her confusing intentions. Calmly, she confessed her genuine affection, shocking Alma and deepening the interrogation's emotional complexity. Alma rejected her idealized image of him, forcing her to face harsh, painful reality. Finally, Alma demanded honesty, rejecting her fantasies and insisting she stop twisting his true action. Alma grabbed her face firmly, forcing eye contact, demanding she confront reality without illusion. He shouted, insisting she face him directly, acknowledging the real person standing before her. Trembling, she confessed her fear of abandonment, revealing her desperate need for constant attention. Alma countered firmly, demanding she consider others' perspectives instead of obsessing over her desire. He urged her to understand people aren't possessions, pleading for her to open her eyes. Alma confessed his love unexpectedly, stunning her and briefly shifting the interrogation's tense atmosphere. Shocked and uncertain, she questioned his sincerity, struggling to comprehend his sudden, vulnerable declaration. She realized his anger came from genuine care, regretting not understanding this before her death. Alma reassured her gently, emphasizing the importance of learning and moving forward despite mistakes. Outside, observers praised Alma's unexpected strategy, noting he extracted trust while surpassing their expectations entirely. Alma repeated his question calmly, and she finally revealed Yomi's goal, expanding their family. She explained Yomi's blood could revive corpses as Manga, transforming them into obedient followers. Most became hideous monsters, but rare cases like Utsuro retained human forms and intelligence. Some Mangas sought revenge for past suffering, while others endlessly awaited death to escape existence. Utsuro described Yomi's other loyal members, each possessing unique traits, disturbing personalities, and dangerous abilities. Alma questioned more members, but Utsuro admitted she didn't know every follower person. Elsewhere, under a crescent moon, ominous footsteps approached a mysterious, isolated mansion slowly. Inside the mansion, grotesque creatures feasted on bodies, their unsettling movements filling the dark halls. Two intruders panicked after witnessing horrors, blaming each other for daring to explore forbidden ground. Cornered, one boy begged desperately for forgiveness, pleading for his life from a shadowy figure. A shadowy figure commanded the creature to attack, unleashing a terrifying surge of violent power. The man advanced through the dark corridor, stepping over bodies as chaos consumed the mansion. A shattered family portrait hinted at deep secrets, suggesting tragedy rooted within the mansion's past. The masked agent checked the time, deciding to pause interrogations after finishing urgent priority questions. They entered the holding room, confirming progress. Alma waited nearby, while Utsuro remained restrained and silent. Agent announced Utsuro's strict surveillance, releasing Alma from further duties and allowing him temporary rest. Utsuro silently processed everything, while whispers nearby hinted at hidden emotions Alma had yet to acknowledge. Despite the situation, Utsuro resolved to control her feelings, determined to remain composed around Alma. Before leaving, Alma reassured Utsuro he'd return soon, leaving her silently hopeful yet conflicted. Later, Alma joined his team for a site inspection at an old, eerie building. Inside, workers prepared equipment, while Mr. Rina instructed them to secure any abandoned belongings carefully. As they explored deeper, workers nervously joked about curses, unsettling whispers spreading through the dark halls. One worker suddenly froze, sensing something unnatural nearby, while his partner cautiously questioned his strange behavior. During the inspection, a worker discovered Koba's lifeless body, blood spreading ominously across the floor. News reached Mr. Mina quickly. Two of his men had mysteriously died during the operation. He met Alma's team, delivering grim updates while Tao expressed restrained sympathy over the situation. Frustrated, Mina demanded urgency, but Alma remained casual, insisting on breakfast before handling unexpected deaths. Tao's patience snapped as tensions rose, warning Mina not to underestimate their ability to investigate. Mina insisted the deaths weren't normal. The bodies suggested something unnatural, beyond human explanation. Tao correctly guessed the cause, surprising Mina, who revealed both workers were mysteriously crushed. Mina admitted he was referred by Izuto, trusting Alma's team more than local authorities. He revealed the deaths happened near an infamous haunted mansion, long abandoned on the outskirts. Tao recalled the mansion's dark history. 9 people mysteriously died, leaving behind a cursed reputation. Mina explained other companies avoided the mansion. 2 men died during his brief inspection. Haunted by guilt, Mina confessed he'd raised those workers and couldn't face their family. Desperate for answers, Mina begged Tao and Alma for help uncovering the disturbing cause. Offering everything he had, Mina secured their acceptance to investigate the mysterious mansion deaths. Tao finalized the deal. Their mission was clear: uncover the truth behind these deadly incidents. Tao reassured Mina, accepting his payment while reminding him to prioritize his struggling family. Soon after, Alma and Tao arrived at the mansion's gates, awed by its massive size. Alma marveled at its luxurious value, realizing the property was worth hundreds of millions. Suddenly, they encountered Nini, another troubleshooter, leading to tension over overlapping investigation rights. A mysterious woman appeared, holding reports about the mansion, questioning their involvement with sharp suspicion. Ni revealed shocking news: the cursed mansion belonged to her family before the tragedy. Alma reacted in disbelief, but Ni clarified she no longer lived there after moving away. Despite her connection, Ni admitted she couldn't step inside, haunted by painful memories and fear. She finally confessed her terror, the mansion's bloody past keeping her from entering all these years. Tao acknowledged the tragedy, realizing Nina was the sole surviving daughter from the doomed household. Ignoring Nine's protests, Tao led Alma inside, determined to investigate despite the looming dangers. Alma explained the deadly history of the mansion, shocking Nina with details she never knew. Tao suggested the deaths might involve the terrifying, crushing death Manga, heightening Nine's growing dread. Nine hesitated, her fear obvious, but Tao urged her to leave for her safety. Summoning courage, Nina insisted on joining them, determined to uncover truths buried within her past. Tao teased Alma about being scared, but Alma insisted he was completely prepared for danger. Entering cautiously, the group explored the grand yet eerie halls, tension thickening with every creak. Tao suggested splitting up to cover more ground, advising everyone to shout if necessary. Alma struggled to stay calm while Nia's anxiety worsened, the mansion's silence amplifying their fears. Suddenly, they heard unexpected footsteps nearby, forcing Alma and Nia to freeze in startled silence. Alma and Nine froze as an unexpected figure emerged, sneaking cautiously through the hallway. Confronting the intruder revealed he was a homeless scavenger, unaware of the mansion's dangers. Suddenly, strange noises echoed nearby, startling everyone and triggering their growing sense of dread. They discovered the intruder lying motionless, blood pooling beneath him, a fresh tragedy unfolding. Realizing danger was imminent, Alma instructed Nine to find Tao while he stayed behind. Tao and Nine readied their weapons as a dangerous presence finally revealed itself above, and she carefully entered the dusty room, sword in hand, scanning for clues about the missing child. Notice a framed photograph showing a smiling mother and daughter, triggering faint memories from her past. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed behind her. Tao instinctively reached for her blade, preparing herself. Two grotesque creatures burst violently through the door, their sharp teeth glistening under the dim, flickering light. Tao dashed forward without hesitation, slicing through the first creature's neck before it could even scream. She swiftly fired multiple bullets, tearing apart the charging creature before it could reach her position. Alma rushed forward, preparing her weapon, while another monstrous beast lunged with jaws wide open to strike. With precise speed, Alma's blade slashed through the creature's neck, splattering dark blood across the corridor walls. The hallway filled with more grotesque monsters, but Alma stayed calm, volunteering to secure the first floor. Tao nodded and sprinted upstairs, knowing the house's structure well, while Alma held back approaching threats. The woman enters the dark hallway cautiously, sensing multiple hostile creatures emerging from the shadows. Ignoring fear, she steadies her pistol, while the towering skull-faced monster lunges toward her back. Creatures close in from every direction, but she fires precise shots, forcing them to retreat briefly. Calmly lighting a cigarette, she prepares her next move. Realizing negotiations with these beings are impossible, she fires relentlessly at a distant figure, knowing this battle decides control over the entire district. Alma storms into the damaged hall, furious at Tao's reckless actions threatening their fragile mission. Suddenly, Alma spots a mysterious figure watching from above, vanishing quickly before she can react. Following faint noises, shines her light across the rooftop, sensing danger lurking nearby in silence. She hears footsteps ahead, rushes through the hallway, but freezes when shadows slip out of sight. Heart pounding, Alma steadies her weapon, realizing the unknown presence ahead could change everything tonight. Approaches a sealed room slowly, flashlight scanning every shadow, sensing something had just moved inside. She freezes. An unfamiliar masked fighter appears, his aura sharp, eyes locked onto something beyond her. Meanwhile, she partner, Alma, is ambushed below by twisted creatures lunging from every possible angle. One beast attempts to bite, but he intercepts with a swift counter, dodging its massive jaws. Spinning midair, he strikes back hard, using raw strength and agility to escape the creature's grip. Alma slams two monsters down effortlessly, his strikes precise, forcing the rest to momentarily hesitate. Breathing heavily, he scans the ruins, frustrated by endless creatures emerging from every collapsing corridor. Suddenly, an explosion tears through the upper balcony, shaking the entire building and scattering debris everywhere. Amid the chaos, Tao flips backward, dodging rubble, while she allies check his immediate combat status. Surrounded by wreckage, they regroup quickly, exchanging updates, realizing the infestation is far worse than expected. Tao and Alma regroup, suspecting a stronger ringleader controls the monsters. Nei's absence raises concern. Meanwhile, Nei reaches a locked door deep inside the hallway, determined to uncover hidden answers. With steady hands, she twists the doorknob slowly, bracing herself for whatever waits inside. Inside, Nei cautiously enters the dimly lit room, unaware of a looming figure watching silently. A tall, imposing man stands ahead, unmoving, his presence radiating danger and an unsettling intent. The man turns slowly, glaring at Nei, his cold voice breaking the silence. "You're late." Nei freezes at the doorway, trembling, recognizing him instantly, an unexpected figure from her haunted past. He taunts her relentlessly, circling like a predator, warning her about distractions during their tense standoff. His gaze sharpens, mentioning Nei's hatred, forcing buried emotions to resurface along with painful memory. Grinning darkly, he twists the knife deeper, reminding Nei of her family's murder 10 years ago. Nei grips her katana tightly, anger rising, preparing herself to strike without hesitation or doubt. She steps forward aggressively, confronting the man refusing to let his taunts control her anymore. Both lock eyes, tension growing heavier, as Nei readies for a decisive battle against him. She stepped into the ruined office, facing the man responsible for everything she had lost. Gripping her weapon tightly, she remembered the missions the man she had to kill him now. Flashes of her childhood returned: a quiet garden, warm meals, and the caretakers who raised her. Those memories hid the truth he bought her, trained her, and prepared her to obey. He watched her hesitate, reminding her that loyalty meant obedience no matter the cost of disobedience. The blade struck the floor first, its speed breaking the silence and marking the fight's beginning. With a swift motion, she severed his head completely, determined to finish everything here and now. His head rolled across the floor, and she stared silently, overwhelmed by the weight of victory. Suddenly, the ground shattered violently beneath them, forcing her to jump back and reassess the situation. She raised her sword again, preparing for another enemy as debris fell from the damaged ceiling. She staggered back, gasping for breath, her eyes widening as the enemy's power intensified unexpectedly. With a precise swing, she sliced through the massive falling debris, preventing herself from getting trapped. The ground cracked violently beneath her, forcing her to crouch low while preparing for another strike. Leaping high, she redirected her attack, shouting angrily at the unseen enemy destroying the building's structure. Explosions erupted around her as the floor collapsed, forcing her to retreat quickly to avoid injury. The peaceful library moment was shattered instantly as the ground exploded beneath the wooden table. She turned sharply, glaring upwards, realizing her opponent's attack had pierced the ceiling above her. Furniture collapsed violently around her, as old memories of comfort flashed briefly within her thoughts. She braced herself, dodging falling debris, while preparing for the next strike within the destroyed room. Her eyes widened, sensing a new, faster attack approaching, forcing her body to react immediately. The library erupted into chaos as blasts of power destroyed shelves and sent debris everywhere violently. She shielded herself behind her sword, while countless books scattered wildly, obstructing her vision. Focus. Breathing heavily, she tried to recover, but pain surged through her body from sustained injuries. Her opponent emerged through the smoke, his body burning unnaturally while radiating overwhelming destructive energy. Memories flashed before her, kneeling as a child before this same man, bound by forced loyalty. She froze in shock as he mocked her, his tone calm but laced with clear hostility. Standing tall, he belittled her strength, questioning her past and mocking her fragile resolve. Leaning closer, he demanded the years he lost, forcing her to confront buried painful memories. Enraged, she charged forward, screaming for her stolen family, vowing to reclaim everything no matter what. He gazed down arrogantly, confident in his power, showing no fear of her desperate determination. She raised her sword defensively, heart racing as immense pressure descended from above. Unexpectedly, he stepped forward confidently, declaring she could never defeat him with her current strength. Suddenly, a massive attack fell from above, forcing her body downward without any chance to resist. The force crushed her onto the wooden floor, splintering planks beneath her collapsing under immense weight. Blood spilled from her mouth as pain surged, yet her grip on the sword remained. A mysterious gate opened, releasing waves of energy, alarming the fighters standing near its glow. He explained calmly that his blood interacted uniquely with the gate, amplifying its dangerous effects. Two terrifying creatures emerged, drawn by his blood, their hunger for human flesh immediately overwhelming. Wounded and bleeding, she struggled to rise, whispering to herself that she must kill him. Gasping for breath beneath crushing weight, she clutched her broken blade, refusing to abandon the fight. She screamed in pain, forcing her body forward, blood dripping heavily as her strength rapidly faded. Suddenly, monstrous limbs erupted nearby, striking violently as chaos overwhelmed the already shattered battlefield around her. Exhausted, she glared at her opponent while he calmly approached, unfazed and breathing steadily. Trembling, she demanded answers through tears, unable to comprehend the cruelty behind his cold expression. Struggling to stand, she staggered forward weakly, questioning everything as her determination began to waver. She confronted him with trembling hands, demanding to know why he murdered her beloved parents mercilessly. Her voice cracked as she accused him of killing others too, desperately searching for his explanation. He coldly revealed her father's corruption, insisting everyone involved deserved death without any hesitation. Confused and enraged, she questioned his motives further, struggling to understand his relentless hatred. Tears streamed as she shouted, demanding to know why he saved her life years ago. She demanded an answer, questioning his actions now, her voice trembling with anger and confusion. He turned his back, coldly replying that he didn't know, dismissing her demand completely. Suddenly, the ground erupted violently, debris rained down, and shock overwhelmed her fragile, exhausted body. She tried to chase him as he walked away, but her weakened legs betrayed her. Collapsed on the ground, she screamed at her failing body, begging it desperately to move. The enemy's sudden attack destroyed the room, forcing Alma to enter with his weapon ready. Alma found Nee gravely injured, calling her name desperately while chaos unfolded around them. Determined to protect her, Alma grabbed his blade tightly, standing over Nee's collapsed body. Despite her injuries, Nee whispered her intent to kill the enemy, walking calmly away. Alma advanced toward the tattooed enemy, fully aware this battle would decide everything between them. The building exploded violently, debris scattering everywhere as the enemy's overwhelming power destroyed everything. Amidst the ruins, Alma screamed in anger and frustration, his body bruised and trembling heavily. Nee regained consciousness, gripping her sword tightly, while Alma confronted allies and planned immediate retaliation. The grand mansion stood peacefully under the sunny sky, hiding the secrets and events within. Inside the kitchen, a maid prepared lunch, while a curious girl quietly planned a mischievous prank. Suddenly, the girl shouted loudly behind the maid, making her jump and scream in surprise. Laughing proudly, the girl apologized while the maid caught her breath, forgiving her playful little trick. After calming down, the girl presented a handmade prototype toy, impressing the surprised, delighted maid. The maid admired the handmade bunny doll, while praising the girl's growing talent and creativity. Girl wondered if making dolls for her parents would finally make them happy again. Proudly posing, she accepted the maid's compliments, confident her skills were unmatched within the mansion. While preparing tea, the girl grew curious about a guest and insisted on delivering snacks herself. Ignoring warning, she rushed through the hallway with the tea, heading toward the forbidden drawing room. While approaching the drawing room, she overheard a heated argument, voices raised angrily behind the closed door. The maid quickly stopped her, insisting she leave, while someone inside calmly reassured her to go. Alone at the gazebo, the girl silently worked on her dolls, feeling slightly uneasy. Suddenly, loud shouting erupted nearby, startling her as she noticed two men arguing near the garden. She hid behind the table, eyes wide, realizing she had overheard something dangerous and personal. Girl watched nervously as the two men fought violently, one breaking free with anger. After the confrontation, the man stormed out, the heavy mansion gates closing firmly behind him. Frustrated, he kicked the gate before walking away, muttering curses under his breath in silence. Curious yet cautious, the girl approached the gate, standing quietly as she faced the stranger. They locked eyes through the bars, neither speaking, tension growing between their worlds divided by iron. The girl hesitated but asked softly if he was crying, noticing his quiet, lowered expression. Relieved, she smiled when he denied it, comparing his intimidating appearance to Fujita's scary demeanor. She scolded him for kicking the gate and smoking, but quickly noticed his torn jacket. Confidently, she offered to repair it, proudly boasting about her sewing skills inside the mansion. Sitting outside, she carefully patched the jacket while he watched curiously, questioning her playful sewing choice. Smiling proudly, she explained she was sewing a cute heart patch, teasing him about appearances. She asked his name, but he hesitated before finally introducing himself as Nei. While leaving, after finishing the repair, she handed back the jacket, upset he didn't thank her properly. A black van arrived to pick Nei up, cutting their brief conversation unexpectedly short. As the van drove away, she yelled in frustration, upset he never said thank you. After school, she approached the parked car, puzzled by Fujita's strange absence from his spot. Confused, she leaned inside, calling Fujita's name, but instead found unfamiliar silence surrounding the vehicle. Suddenly, two men ambushed her, one covering her mouth while the other mocked her helplessness. He confirmed Fujita wasn't present and quickly restrained her, preparing to leave the area. Darkness filled her mind with fear and memory, realizing she had seen one attacker before. Awoke tied to a chair inside a dim room, surrounded by unfamiliar men. One man pulled out a camera, demanding a picture while forcing her to look and smile. Terrified, she hesitated, but the flash went off, capturing her frightened expression against her will. After taking the photo, the man laughed coldly, hinting at more plans awaiting violating her next. Another man ordered his companion to strip her, revealing this was part of a client's request. Tears welled up in her eyes as she asked about ransom, but their leader refused coldly. Instead of negotiating, he revealed a darker plan that the girl would be sold immediately overseas. Another man hesitated, worried about informing Kisagaya, yet he stayed silent to avoid severe consequence. Closing in, one thug reached for her belongings while trembled, desperately hoping for rescue. Before anyone reacted, a powerful strike landed, knocking a man down and freezing the room. Nei stormed in, grabbing the man by his collar, his furious expression demanding immediate answer. Seeing the terrified girl in tears, he confronted the kidnappers angrily, ready to protect her. He tightly grabbed Alma's collar, threateningly declaring plans to sell him without hesitation. Alma mocked him confidently, exposing hidden crimes and unsettling the frightened girl watching nearby silently. Suddenly, Alma unleashed a powerful strike, sending the man crashing violently across the narrow room. Shizuka winced from the chaos, while Alma calmly criticized their reckless violence amid rising tension. Injured man staggered forward angrily, but Alma's unyielding gaze warned him to surrender immediately. The kidnappers revealed their plan to extort Takadare, confident the ransom money would arrive tomorrow. Alma mocked their strategy, warning it wasn't a simple exchange, and danger awaited them all. Tensions escalated as Haiba demanded control, while Alma and Kisagaya were ordered to leave immediately. Haiba restrained the terrified girl, warning her not to escape as she silently clutched the rope. Girl cried quietly, clutching papers, while Haiba promised release if her father paid prompt. The exhausted girl finally collapsed, resting against Haiba's lap, while he silently guarded the locked room. She began crying uncontrollably, clinging to Haiba despite his discomfort, overwhelmed by fear and hopelessness inside. Haiba sighed deeply, looking upward, allowing the girl to cry while he remained steady and protected. Morning arrived. Haiba placed her in the car, preparing to deliver her safely as promised. Inside the car, silence filled the air. She watched him cautiously, still unsure of trusting him. Haiba stopped the car and ordered her out, carefully watching their surroundings to ensure safety. Standing beside the van, Haiba told her to wait, assuring someone would come retrieve her. She hesitated, wanting to speak, but Haiba simply walked away after briefly saying goodbye. Fighting back tears, the girl softly thanked Haiba for saving her life and protecting her. Overwhelmed with emotion, tears streamed down her face as Haiba silently disappeared from her sight. The girl finally reunited with her family, embraced tightly as everyone cried with overwhelming relief. Days passed peacefully. She enjoyed warm meals, playful moments, and comforting care from everyone around. Returning to her grand bedroom, she paused quietly, sensing something strange and unusually unsettling inside. Haiba entered cautiously, noticing unsettling signs of violence, with two bodies collapsed near the bed. The girl fell to her knees, trembling, shocked to find her parents murdered without explanation. Haiba stood in silence, his expression hidden, controlling his emotions while assessing the situation carefully. The girl, overwhelmed by fear and shock, listened as Haiba instructed her to remember everything. Haiba declared calmly that if she ever killed him someday, he would praise her. Suddenly, she awoke in a hospital room, gasping heavily, struggling to process everything she remembered. Clutching her chest, pain surged through her body, while memories of that horrifying night returned. Alma explained her injuries, warning her to rest, while promising allies would visit her soon. Ignoring warnings, she pulled off the tubes, demanding her katana with intense determination and urgency. Haunted by memories, she insisted on killing Haiba, convinced Yoki repaired her broken weapon. Shouting desperately, she called for Yoki, demanding her katana to confront Haiba. Without hesitation, Yoki finally arrived, holding her close, trying to calm her trembling body and growing anger. She panicked, trying to leave, but Yoki restrained her, refusing to let her risk everything. Frustrated, she insisted Haiba killed her family and demanded revenge, while others struggled to calm her. Crying uncontrollably, she expressed her loss, remembering everything Haiba destroyed, her pain overwhelming everyone nearby. Screaming in despair, she admitted having nothing left, clinging to Yoki for comfort and stability. Finally, the others gathered around her, offering silent support as Alma quietly watched from behind. Alma angrily scolded her recklessness, frustrated that she ignored her condition despite her severe injury. He warned her calmly but firmly, explaining she wasn't ready and would die fighting now. Alma reminded her of the pain others endured, questioning if she understood their suffering too. She cried, arguing her family was already gone, struggling to see any reason to stop. Finally, her friends surrounded her, offering comfort and support, trying to ease her overwhelming grief. Tears streamed down her face as she realized Saragi was all they had left together. Alma reassured her, explaining everyone at Saragi was family now, even without blood ties connecting them. Yoki, holding back tears, was moved by her words, overwhelmed by their shared pain and loss. The tense atmosphere eased slightly, replaced by light-hearted banter as Alma grew embarrassed by his emotion. Meanwhile, Haiba returned quiet, greeted by a mysterious man, signaling the beginning of another confrontation. The man greeted Haiba with a sly smile, casually asking about his visit to his parents' place. Haiba coldly dismissed the comment, entering the room where Shizuka greeted him with subtle irritation. Inside, the group discussed Utsoro's absence, speculating she might be distracted while others exchanged updates. Another conversation unfolded as Alma complained about hunger, while Mameko scolded him yet still offered. Meanwhile, Chihaya confirmed having collected more pieces, though they decided to wait before using them. He calmly mentioned the family would only reunite after everything was finally resolved completely. The old headquarters stood silent as Kakashin entered, sensing tension hidden beneath peaceful appearance. Inside, the commander calmly awaited him. Kakashin lit a cigarette, masking unease with forced composure. His companion, a younger subordinate, stood nearby. They investigated recent attacks involving uncontrollable disaster beasts. Commander pressed for details, questioning Kakashin's reckless methods and unpredictable decisions during the last mission. Kakashin's subordinate defended him sharply, insisting the chief's strategies saved countless lives against rampaging creatures. Arguments escalated between the chief and Kakashin, while Alma remained confused, struggling to understand. Reports confirmed the elusive Manga kept spreading chaos. The team debated strategies while pressure intensified. Kakashin muttered the name Mumon, recalling a dangerous figure possibly connected to recent attacks. Meanwhile, Alma recovered from his injury. Scientists confirmed his body had fully healed unnaturally fast. Researchers revealed Alma's blood enabled advanced weapon development, making him vital against future Maga threats. Alma was assigned to deliver documents to the chief's room, while others prepared prototype. Before leaving, they assured Alma he could eat anything later, trying to keep him cooperative. Alma wandered through the station carrying documents when he suddenly sensed something unusual nearby. A half-beast individual appeared aggressively, startling Alma, who quickly prepared himself for potential conflict. Inside the elevator, Alma confronted the Beastman, clarifying identities while tensions remained cautiously restrained. Alma mocked Juan while leaving, angering him. Juan chased Alma, shouting threats through the hallway. Reaching the medical ward, Alma finally arrived at his destination and prepared to deliver documents. Inside, Alma discovered numerous flowers and gifts. Surprised by the overwhelming support for the patient, he learned the patient, Nay, had survived. Relief spread as everyone discussed her stable condition. Even while unconscious, Nay twitched slightly. Alma noted her recovery, but tensions around her remained. Alma arrived at the chief's office, carrying reports, and greeted everyone casually upon entering. Inside, Ms. Tsugumi welcomed him warmly while arranging flowers meant for the chief's recovery. Since the chief was absent, Alma handed over reports, updating Ms. Tsugumi on Yoki's finding. Ms. Tsugumi offered special Monaca cakes meant for the chief, encouraging Alma to secretly enjoy some. Excited, Alma hurried to the cafeteria and ordered an overwhelming amount of his favorite dishes. Alma eagerly prepared to enjoy his massive meal, finally ready to indulge after working tirelessly. While eating, a masked staff member approached, offering unexpected food from an unknown source. The food was a message from Mr. Orono, expressing gratitude for Alma's past help. In a secured room, a restrained woman tasted the food, quietly savoring every single bite. Later, Alma learned the woman refused to eat unless he personally came to visit. Alma visited the restrained woman, offering food while discussing her limited freedom and current status. She teased Alma about acting like a caregiver, while he awkwardly insisted he wasn't affectionate. Meanwhile, researchers gathered in the lab, preparing to unveil their newest prototype weapon to the team. Inside the case lay a powerful revolver, designed specifically to counter dangerous mega threats effectively. The scientist revealed Alma's blood powered the weapon, making it lethal to mega yet toxic. Researchers discussed the weapon's danger, explaining how direct contact could severely harm ordinary humans. Meanwhile, Alma carefully finished feeding the restrained woman, ensuring she consumed every last portion complete. Alma remarked about becoming used to feeding her, while she teased him with mild sarcasm. As Alma prepared to leave, she hesitated before attempting to ask him a personal favor. Finally, she smiled softly, requesting Alma to visit again, surprising him with her unexpected warmth. Alma visited again, casually admitting he preferred her calmer demeanor, leaving her momentarily stunned. Before leaving, Alma promised to return when possible, while her thoughts lingered on his words. Alone, she reflected on Alma's kindness, realizing she wanted him to notice her someday. Suddenly, her expression changed, something unseen stirred, and strange ripples began forming in the air. Dark energy spread within the room as ominous crows circled, hinting at an approaching danger. Utsuro's expression froze in shock as she sensed a strange, overwhelming presence approaching rapidly. Footsteps echoed ominous. A cheerful yet unsettling voice greeted her, mocking her current captivity situation. A mysterious boy appeared, introducing himself as her retrieval. He claimed he'd come for her. Without warning, he thrust his hand into Utsuro's chest, triggering an intense, chaotic transformation. Smiling coldly, the boy whispered her fate. Her rightful place existed somewhere far from here. The restrained woman struggles violently, but the attacker forcefully pins her down, intending to end everything quickly. Blood splatters onto the floor as the attacker's hand delivers a brutal, decisive strike. The woman slumps forward, blood soaking her bandages, her body trembling as her strength fades rapidly. Another boy rushes in, shocked by the chaos, kneeling beside her lifeless body, desperate for answers. Suddenly, her restrained body convulses violently, transforming unnaturally as monstrous limbs begin to emerge grotesquely. Utsuro lies injured on the ground, confused how Yomi discovered everything about his hidden past. Yomi calmly explains his orders, revealing Utsuro has only two possible paths ahead. He offers a choice: return to the family, or die immediately without hesitation. Bleeding heavily, Utsuro struggles to breathe as Yomi demands an answer, pressuring him relentlessly. Suddenly, a mysterious gate materializes nearby, alarming the guards who sense something dangerous approaching. An emergency alarm blares loudly as a guard slams the button, summoning immediate armed reinforcement. Already discovered, Yomi sighs impatiently, urging Utsuro to move quickly before soldiers storm inside. Despite severe injuries, Utsuro pushes against the floor, his trembling body resisting collapse completely. Yomi's expression darkens as he mocks Utsuro's hesitation, growing restless while footsteps draw nearer rapidly. Armed soldiers finally arrive, weapons raised, reporting the dangerous gate's appearance and demanding everyone surrender. The child intruder unlocks the cage, freeing the blood-lost Manga, while armed guards demand surrender. Guards hesitate as the child calmly raises his hand, appearing harmless despite possible Manga powers. Smiling faintly, the child waves goodbye, signaling an unexpected escape plan already in motion nearby. Behind the confused guards, a shadowed figure silently approaches, preparing a sudden and devastating counterattack. An explosion erupts inside the cage, blinding the guards as the Manga swiftly breaks free. The child observes silently as the injured woman struggles, her face pale and drenched in blood. A towering figure appears, dragging unconscious guards, his unsettling smile revealing both confidence and hidden intention. Misao arrives just as explosions erupt nearby. Shashio commands him to kill anyone who interferes. Shashio orders Misao to leave the fallen guards untouched, hinting they are needed for later. The child casually points at the terrified captive, commanding Misao to eliminate her without hesitation. The injured woman refuses to return home, making herself useless. Shashio orders Misao to kill her. Misao receives a critical instruction: spare the red-haired one, as Yomi specifically wants them alive. Shashio entrusts everything to Misao, leaving confidently while chaos and unresolved threats still remain. The injured woman gathers her strength, demanding vengeance, as Misao anticipates Shashio's praise after slaughtering everyone. A sudden realization strikes another character, his shocked expression hinting at unexpected danger rapidly approaching. The guards panic as alarms blare. Intruder breaches cell 4-3, where the Manga awaits. A sudden ambush incapacitates one guard instantly. The attacker declares their intentions have now completely changed. Despite severe injuries, the woman gathers strength, determined to fight Misao and earn Alma's attention.